seem to have like rock hard abs, and you wear like superhero outfits, and then there's a picture of you with like a plate of donuts.
Yeah.
Like why? How? Why? What does she do?
Well.
Do you eat like heavy donuts and then you lift them?
I mean, honestly, my motto, and I know a lot of people have it, and they say work hard, play hard, but like they don't actually do that.
Yeah.
I live by that. So if I have like a big night out and I have a burger, fries, and 4 beers, well then I will work extra hard, like maybe take 2 classes the next day or something.
What kind of class?
Like I'll go for a run and then I like take yoga, or I go to UFC boxing. Like I'll just make sure that I like work off what I
UFC
eat.
boxing? Are you pretty decent with that stuff?
I mean, I put on the gloves and you just feel like a badass. I don't know if I actually am, but you.
It's just crazy because you look like I picture you like taking like cheese and then you grate it on your rock hard abs and then you sprinkle it on pizza. That's my vision of you at home. We're rolling, by the way. How about that?
Oh wow!
You are listening to a Chatter Fact. Again, these are not interviews; these are conversations. Say hello to the audience. Introduce yourself to the world.
Oh my gosh! Hi world. My name is Molly.
Molly, give them the full, or do you just go by? Are you doing a Madonna thing?
Oh God! Oh, absolutely not. Okay. I'm not that important. My name is Molly Callinan.
So this chick is fascinating, everybody. I've been fascinated by her for years. She's
That's so funny.
I think she's immortal, and she's. You tell them how to spell your last name.
Okay, it's like Callahan but with an N. It's Callinan.
They need to find you like while they're listening to this, and they need to like find your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever it is.
My
you have.
Instagram is kind of a shit show.
Yeah. Oh, they need to see it because you look amazing, but you look uniquely amazing. Like I don't know how to put your look is so different. But it's like somebody drew you. Like you're a comic book drawing. You actually look like that. And I saw you perform once or twice, and you perform. She's a singer. I think you're an actress too because you're on stage. So I
do like musical theater.
Yeah.
Shows.
I've had people on the show who like been on the lyric opera, and they've done like professional theatrical things, and then they try to dabble in the band world.
Yep.
And they do okay, but it's not quite their jam because they're theater people.
Yeah.
And then I've had people who just rock it in the band world, and then they try to go theater, and maybe they can dabble, but it doesn't work out. You're one of the only people I know, like, nobody would know if people. I could just tell by your performance, and again by the damn pictures.
Yeah.
The things that you do and the gigs that you get, I could tell that seeing you on stage has to be pretty legit.
Yeah.
But then if somebody saw you in one of your bands, they would just think, "Oh, this is what she does."
Sure.
Like
sure.
the fact that you can toggle both lines. And it doesn't get blurry, like it's just, or it does get blurry. The line gets blurry. Like you do it all, and you do it really well.
Thank you.
And you're funny as hell on the social media side. Like guys, seriously,
I like to keep it interesting.
Find her, find her now, and look at her while you listen to her, so that you can get everything that's going on here.
So my Instagram is Molly Chai Donuts. So it's MOLLYCHIDONUTS.
So you really do it right, because again, there'll be a picture of you in like some kind of string bikini or like a Catwoman outfit. You're the only person I know that can like actually wear that, and it really works. Like I know tons of like hot people who will wear it in like Halloween or something, and it looks great. But like you own it. You're the only person I know who actually owns it. Like it's just different on you.
I mean, I love that shit. That's
I want an action
live for.
figure of you is what I want.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. Not even for kinky reasons. Like I would make you like, then I'd have to buy more, and you'd have to like beat up Superman or something, But anyway, but you do it right. So this is why you look like a superhero, because you train that hard. Especially if you decide to eat.
Yeah, we were just talking before about if I have a box of donuts, or if I go out for a burger and fries and this and that, which I totally do. Like I eat a lot of junk food, but when I do, I completely make sure that the next day I'm like, all right, here we go, let's burn that shit off.
Do you eat meat?
Of course I eat meat. Yes.
Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Minnesota, so it's like meat and potatoes,
Okay.
I sang at a steakhouse, Mastro's Steakhouse.
I've seen that gig pop up.
Yeah, so I ate a ton of steak, all like red meat. I like it nice and rare and bloody. Like, yeah.
What will you do at that gig all of a sudden?
What do I do there?
Like, what kind of music are you doing?
You know, it's like some standard, some pop, some rock. It's just a piano player, drummer, and then myself.
We're going to take this girl apart. We're going to find out everything. And then when you see like all these crazy, awesome Instagram photos, you're going to say, oh, now I get it. Now I know why. Now I know who she is. Seriously, because you fascinate me.
Oh, my God.
And then you're in the Lieutenant Dan band with Gary Sinise. So you're like traveling the world with that.
Yes, I am. And that's where I just was last night. We had a show in New Orleans. It was like a DAV convention, which is a Disabled American Veterans Convention. Wow. So everyone was like, it's an older crowd, lots of people in wheelchairs, hover-rounds, this and that. And we performed for them, and they're super appreciative.
Have you been there
really
before,
cool. Yeah.
New Orleans your jam, kind of? Or?
I had a blast.
You really?
Actually, like, I was so hungover all day yesterday. I'm talking all day. Like,
all day?
Like last night around 9 p.m. I was still like, oh my God,
that's
what
amazing.
have I done?
What would be your drink of choice?
Well,
or do you experiment depending on like what town you're in?
I'm not going to lie. Yesterday I woke up and we started the day with 2 Hurricanes from Pat O'Brien's, this giant like rum drinks.
Okay.
And then we did another place and had a Monsoon, which is another like super sugary, like really strong drink. And then we went to this place, had a bottle of wine. Like we literally
natural catastrophes.
We did like a tour of New Orleans, and it was just drinks.
Is Gary like? Is he hanging or?
Absolutely not. So this is a funny story.
Yeah.
So I did my show.
So guys, Gary Sinise, actor from whichever
Lieutenant Dan,
Forrest
Gump.
Lieutenant Dan from Forrest, and then he was on television, or might still be with New York. Is it Law and Order in New York?
Oh my God,
I
should know this.
No, it's not Law and Order.
No, it is.
Is it? Okay.
CSI New York.
CSI New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and then he did a show called Beyond Borders, which is a spin-off of Criminal Minds.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that got canceled, so now he likes to say in between jobs.
And then in the middle of all that, he does the band thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to back everything up because then I want to hear about him and I want to hear about the traveling, how you got into that.
Okay.
Like you have so much. My brain's exploding.
But okay, I do want to tell you about this New Orleans trip because this is like I cannot believe that I did this. I did something really, really weird. Okay, so I'm 42 years old, and I have found
30.
I am 42.
I'm not being nice. Like you look 30.
Well, I mean, no.
So
no.
you killed somebody, or you know a wizard. Like, I'm totally not being nice. Oh, guys. Now you have to look at her Instagram, but I apologize. I didn't know you're. Whoa, man.
Yeah, 42, and I found myself single at 42.
Okay.
So just recently, I decided to get on these apps. These dating apps, Tinder, Bumble, all this stuff. And so, like maybe 4 months ago, I was traveling to Cuba. And on my way over, I was in Miami, and I turned on one of my apps, which is, I think it was Bumble. And anyway, I saw this guy, and I was like, oh, we matched. And I thought, all right, I'm going to swipe right. And with Bumble, the girl's in charge of like making the first move. So I wrote him and I just said, oh, hey man, like I probably shouldn't have swiped because I don't even live here. I'm just on a layover, but you look like my type and you look awesome.
And
he wrote back, he is Colombian, tattoos on his arms, just like really sporty. All of his pictures were like, mountain bike riding or like surfing. So I was just like, oh, this guy looks cool. So we went back and forth, and we got off the app and we exchanged numbers. We started texting. We've been texting for a long time, and then we've been trying to get together and actually meet because I live in Chicago, he lives in Miami.
Yeah.
So this weekend was his birthday, and he was like, oh, why don't I come to see you for my birthday? And I was like, oh, damn, I have a show. Why don't you meet me in New Orleans? And within an hour, he had booked a flight.
Holy cow.
So my first date meeting him was like a weekend together.
What?
So I was like, this is either going to be an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Like this could go terribly wrong. You know how you like walk into a room and you see someone and it's like immediately no or okay, yes. like, I just thought, oh my God, I hope like he is what I think he is. And I hope he thinks that I'm what he thinks it is. And so it was so nerve wracking.
This is a part of the story where I kind of hope he like shows up and he's like a 60-year-old bald, short, fat guy who just put up like a magazine picture of his nephew who's like real sporty. Like, no, my name's Sam and I work at the post office. No?
No. But let me just tell you. So he was like, okay, I'm going to get an Airbnb, and would you like to get your own hotel, or would you like to stay with me? I'll get a couch so that if it goes shitty or
he's going all in under the same roof.
Yeah, he's like, if things don't work out, like, I'll take the couch, you can take the bed, and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just go for it. I mean, you live once. Yes, okay, I'm in.
Taking UFC classes.
Oh my God, yeah. And all my friends were like, Molly, you're an idiot. You're gonna get catfished.
I'm nervous for you, and it already happened.
I said, the least of my worries is my safety. I can take care of myself. Okay. I can totally I was just worried that, like, I'm going to show up and he's like, oh no, or I'm like, oh no, or like, it's just the conversation was awkward. And then we have 2 days together. So man, I walked into the Airbnb, he gave me the code and he's like, come on in, I'm here. My heart was racing.
Mine is right now.
Shaking. I stood outside the door and I was like, all right, just breathe. This is going to be fine, And I walked in, I was like, hi, hi. And we just sort of hugged and he looked great and the conversation was good. It was pretty cool. And so then he came to my show and we hung out for the rest of the weekend.
You had a show in the midst of all that.
Yes, a Lieutenant Dan band show. So he came to that. He met some of the band and then we hung out for the rest of the weekend. And that's why we went on a New Orleans drink tour.
Oh, he was with you during all the...
Yes,
so this
it was
went
just
well.
him and I. This was a weekend date.
Are you in
And I just got back last night.
Does it feel like first love? Does it feel right?
I really dug him. Yeah, it was weird. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that.
And he lives in
Miami. I'm usually pretty picky, and I'm and I'm just like, oh no, I really dug him.
Does
so I'm
he
like,
travel
oh great.
A lot, or?
Yeah. So now I'm like, all right, well now I dig someone that lives in Miami. Great. Now what do I do?
It's like halfway.
Yeah.
The battle's halfway
fun.
there.
It was something that not a lot of people would do because they're not stupid.
It's still, it made me nervous hearing all about it. But then you seem like you can handle yourself
completely.
But wow.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of, why am I not like, this is how I feel like you live. I feel like you just like, well, it's Monday, so I got to jump out a plane, and then Tuesday I'm gonna fight some ninjas, and then Thursday underground fighting, and then Friday I'm getting my nails done and I have to look beautiful for a walkway thing. Like you seem like that chick to me. It's weird because I first met you like years ago. You were at Northwoods in Northwest Indiana.
Northwoods.
You were with Catfight, I think, and I was doing a show locally, and that's kind of the area I grew up in. So if I'm there doing a show, then I'll bounce around, visit friends or whatever. And Northwoods was a regular spot for my old band.
For your band,
yeah.
Sure.
So I would, that would just be home. I loved the whole staff and everything.
Yeah, so Northwoods was a bomb.
Oh man, I love that place. So I finished there, and unfortunately for you, I was called by Dave Calzaretta, who books me all over the world. That guy.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, you're close to Northwoods. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go there anyway. And he says, oh, you should go. I think a girl might be there that you're singing with soon.
Okay.
And I think he was talking about Julie Ducek.
Sure.
So I went to Northwoods and I saw you, and you're taller than me, but then with heels, you're like significantly taller than me.
Yeah, sometimes I rock some pretty tall heels.
And you were like you were an explosion. Like you were an explosion. You're a fantastic performer, man. And you were a beast, and I think you might have been wearing like the cat suit, maybe.
I had a black cat suit, and that's what I usually wore when I performed there.
And you wore it well, but not only that, like your whole show is an attack. I like kind of live by that. I don't think I'm as intense as you are, but I try to live by the whole. As soon as I start, attack.
I remember Northwoods. We would always I was always. Singing on top of the bar, yes. Yes, I remember the guitar player would rip his shirt off.
Oh, that was with the later band
Dylan
too.
Jones.
Yeah.
Dylan Jones would rip his shirt off and shred on the guitar, and we'd hop on the bar. That place was fun.
So I thought, I feel really good about my presence here, but this girl this is who I'm going to sing with because I think she'll pick me up and then eat me. And then Jeff Friesel, who owned the place or ran the place, anytime I walked in, he would always tell whatever band, and I hated it because I hate when people do that to me. Like, hey, you got to make Billy sing or whatever. Sure. And you guys are really gracious. And I think I had to do something like Brick House or Signed, Sealed, Delivered or something. And I did a quick song with you guys. And then I left, and I think I called Dave up and said, I saw the girl. Like, the girl is like a beast. This is amazing. Like, she's intense.
A beast.
And and I really mean it in the best way.
No, I get it.
I'm like, oh, my God. And then I get booked with supposedly the Catfight girl, and it ended up being Julie Ducek, who's a little more my height.
Yeah.
And she was a little more tame.
She's a little more girl next door, like that. That's
right.
her. Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
My favorite moment though was performing with her. It was like a fancy corporate gig, and she's dressed up, and she's awesome. Her voice was great. Her show I love her show.
Love her.
And we became best friends the second we met. It was quick, and
she's good people.
Yeah, she really is. And so I could tell she's really nervous because she's about to do this like 3-hour show. I think she had to like really learn a lot of stuff last minute.
Okay.
So I could tell she's nervous, wondering if she's going to remember the arrangements, maybe the lyrics, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're going to be fine. This is cool. You do this all the time.
Yeah.
And the first song that she's about to sing lead in, she like steps and something weird happens to the stage and her high heel goes through the stage.
What? How have I not heard this story?
And she's like stuck. She's like wobbling around like, hit me with your best shot. And I'm like trying to like dance around her and I'm trying to like pull her foot out.
Oh my God. Wait, which band was this?
This was Final Say.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, she filled in with Final Say.
I
and then
see.
Finally, then I think
that's rock and roll, man.
I think I like stood in front of her for a bit. So then I'm standing in front of her and she's like, yeah, and she's like yanking at her leg, and then she finally gets it out.
Oh my God!
She was so nervous, and I kept saying, "What could possibly go wrong?" And that's
just a heel in the floorboards.
Yes. Yeah, so does she still work with Lieutenant Dan Band as well?
Yeah, she does. She's one of my best friends.
Is she?
Oh
okay.
yeah.
You guys known each other.
We're besties. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. I got to back this up.
Yeah.
So you were born where again?
Minnesota.
All right.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
And did you just say when you were 5, I'm going to be awesome, I'm going to have a hard body, eat donuts, and be on stage? Was that kind of...
I mean, sort of like that.
All right.
So this is...
Daddy, give me a barbell. Mommy, give me a donut.
So my neighbors, I remember like my neighbor called my mom and said, just to let you know, your daughter Molly knocked on our door and asked for money and she'll sing a song.
Wait, how old were you?
I don't remember. It was a young kid, and then so I was already trying to, or I'd say like, I can do tricks, so give me some money, I'll do some gymnastics in your yard. This is no lie. So my parents kind of knew back then that I was a ham and like wanted to perform.
Did you study gymnastics too? And...
I was up until I grew.
Okay.
I competed and everything. And then one
Really?
day my coach was like, you're 5'10". Your gymnastics is over. Like, good luck. Have a good life. I was like, oh, man.
You're the only one that does the bar exercises, but your feet are still on the ground. It's not fair.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
were you doing gymnastics at most of your life? Or dance, too? Were you doing dance?
Gymnastics. And then when I had to quit gymnastics because of my height, that's when I started to dance.
What kind of dance training did you...
Oh, I don't have dance training. I mean, I've never been an actual dancer.
Sure.
But I just got hired to be a dancer. Like because I move well. Like some of the shows I audition for, I'm hired as a dancer.
See, I had this feeling because I felt like either somebody said it or maybe you made a comment a long time ago on social media, and that's the thing that fascinates me too because I thought like, oh, I don't think she like trained it.
No, I
you get the gigs. Like you're getting major productions.
I always say I fooled him again
when
I
you're
get
on
hired.
stage and I see when I see
fooled
pictures of you like doing a theater gig, it's not like it's the Highland Park Community Theater in the back of the library. It's like major stage productions you're doing.
Yeah.
Like who are you? Okay, so again, it's hard for my brain not to explode. So,
I want to tell you about the place I just got back from, which is the Muni in St. Louis. It is a giant outdoor amphitheater, seats 11,000 11,000 people.
Wow.
It's just this huge outdoor amphitheater, and they do a bunch of shows very quickly. And so I went down there and rehearsed for 2 weeks, and then did the show every night for a week, and then we move on to the next show.
You had 2 weeks of rehearsal?
Yes.
Okay, what was the show?
Yeah, so it was called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Okay, yeah.
And I got hired to play Gymnasia, which is like the girl that she is basically a dominatrix. Like, that's her thing. She's a dominatrix. And here's the funny thing. My name got thrown into the hat. And so they contacted me and said, hey, we heard that you might be good for this role. Will you send us your dance reel? And I was like, dance reel. I wrote back and I said, oh man, I mean, I'm not a dancer. I don't have a dance reel. But I said, but I'm a yogi. I can do the splits. I can like do back bends. I can move very well. Here's some pictures of me in this kind of genre, because I have like dominatrix outfits already. So I just sent them all this shit and I was like, hire me. And then I didn't hear anything back for like 2 months, and I thought, oh, I don't have the gig. Yeah. Next thing you know, I get an email, the Muni would like to offer you this part. And it was freaking awesome. The show, it was so cool. It was so much fun to do, and it was all Broadway stars. Like, everyone came in from New York.
Whoa.
No one was locals, just like New York actors that had all done like a million Broadway shows. So you're doing TV.
It's a musical.
It's a musical.
You're doing dance numbers. You're doing routines with professional dancers.
Yep.
So I mean, you're whether like training or not, you're a professional dancer.
Yes.
Because you're in.
Because I'm in this group.
Hell
yeah,
yes.
So.
But here's what okay. So hold on.
Okay.
When you're a kid, you're taking gymnastics.
Yeah.
Then they say, forget it. You're too tall.
Yeah.
And then you didn't actually take like ballet or jazz.
No.
You didn't do any of that.
No.
So then. What are you?
Yeah,
are you in the Matrix?
Did
somebody plug something into your head?
I just kind of kept up with like my tricks, so like back walkovers, splits, handstands, this and that. And then I got into yoga, which is like super, keeps you very flexible, and it's a form of dance.
Okay.
So I've just always been able to kind of kick my face and do this and that, but I'm not a dancer. Like,
yeah, because there's random pictures I'll see of you where you're like, I'm just standing here, but my foot's over my head and almost touching my nose.
Yeah.
Like, find her on Instagram.
Yeah.
So this is weird. So at some point, did you end up, like, did you do High School Musicals and stuff?
Yeah, I did.
I'm talking to her and I'm so fascinated because she gets like major gigs. And without like, she didn't go to Juilliard,
No.
She didn't even go to like Julie's dance school.
No,
in Hammond,
didn't.
Indiana or something. Like,
I didn't.
This is insane. So this is what I want to know. So were you in musicals or anything like that?
Yeah, I was in musicals in high school.
Okay.
And then I auditioned, so I got done with high school, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did pretty terribly in high school. I just like didn't care.
Let me ask you this. So, some programs in high school are kind of crazy hard. Was it okay or was it good as far as the theater program?
Oh, ours was just very like meh.
Just okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was just like, we didn't have any money for good It was just kind of meh.
Superhero,
meh.
man. This is insane.
But
don't you feel like you should try being a surgeon and just see how it works out?
A surgeon?
Well, I haven't trained for this, but...
Oh, no. There's no doctors in my future. Let me tell you what. I was so terrible in high school. I was just terrible, except for like music, theater, speech, things like that, where I was kind of showing off.
Did you do the college thing, or did you just go right for the gigs?
Okay, let me tell you, this is a good story too. So in Minnesota, like, everyone goes to college when we're done with high school. So I was like, oh, I think I got like a C- average. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I have to, I applied for some schools, and people were like, yeah, no. But this one,
but look, I can do a walkover.
But this one school in Minnesota, it was like a small town, accepted me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to, I guess, go to this school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go, but I didn't know what else to do. So I bought books the first semester and then got super bored and just didn't even buy books for the second. Like, I just sort of like, I'm not kidding. I just kind of stopped. I was there,
you enrolled
but
for
I
the classes?
Stopped going. I wasted.
Wow.
I had to pay for it with my own money too. My parents were like, if you don't get a B average, we're not going to help with, your college. So I was like, oh, didn't even come close to that. So I like went to the school, paid for the schooling, paid for the books, and then was like, this isn't for me. But I stayed there. And then I auditioned for my first it was like a theme park. This theme park did some shows, and I heard that I saw a poster and it was like Valley Fair in Minnesota. You could try out for these, shows. And I was like, oh man, maybe I'll go in there. And you're supposed to have like a resume and a headshot. I didn't have any of that. I just sort of like was, well, I'm gonna give this a try. I walked in. I had a Polaroid picture of myself, and I was like, yeah, I haven't really
picture.
I haven't really done anything, but I'm gonna sing for you. And I freaking got the job. And then once I got that job, all of like my people were pros, so they had all worked like on cruise ships singing at Disney. So I got their contacts and started auditioning for everything then. So I think right after that I was like, oh, maybe I'll audition for Six Flags Over Georgia. Yeah. And then I got that job and just, I don't know. And then I started to just roll.
Six Flags, like in Georgia? Or?
Yes. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take a contract there. Yeah, just random. I just take this weird.
So you just went for it.
I just started.
And you threw a wide net then.
Yeah.
But I mean, so right from the get-go, like even if you well, okay, so at least you had some performance background with the high school, even as far as just being up there.
Sure.
But then suddenly you're throwing in these, this is beautiful, because if I think about it, the stuff that's done at like a cruise ship, or the stuff that's done at like Great America or whatever, Six Flags, a lot of people who have training will like filter into those jobs because they're trying to get the bigger jobs. And some of them are overqualified. You're getting this like person who's like trained in dance for 15 years. But correct me if I'm wrong, some of that stuff, like it's still technical and you got to pull some stuff off.
Completely.
But it's probably not as difficult as, I'm touring with Peter Pan,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
So, oh my God, you cheated the system.
Because
you had the physical ability to do whatever you had to do, but you were able to almost start at this one level that probably prepped you for the next level.
I feel like everything I did prepped me for the next thing, honestly. Like, honestly.
That's brilliant, man. So then, did you ever do the cruise ship thing too, or?
Yeah, I did. I did cruise ships for a year.
How many years were you bouncing? Were you bouncing around?
I bounced around everywhere until I moved here.
Into Chicago.
This is the only place, and I wasn't even planning on staying. I auditioned for the Rocky Horror Picture Show here, and I remember I drove my car down and auditioned. I got a call back, so I stayed for the callback, then drove back to Minnesota, and then they offered me the job. I got the call like, yeah, we'd like you to play the role. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll go move to Chicago for the 3-month run.
Yeah.
And then I thought, this place rocks. Like, I'm not going to go home. I'm going to live
Chicago.
here. Yes.
And how long ago was that?
That was 13 years ago. And then I've been here ever since, except for when I've taken like little things here and there. But this has always been my home.
So how did you, when you got here, you got that gig, and then what was the next gig? Like, how did you work to stay in Chicago?
This is a good story. So Julie Duchek, who we were talking about before, your friend, she did cruise ships for a long time, and she worked with some of the same people that I worked with, and she had seen pictures of me with like someone that she worked on a cruise ship with.
Okay.
And I was working at the Guest store downtown after Rocky Horror ended, because I was like, I want to stay here, but I don't have another job. So I was standing at the front of Guest going, hi, welcome to Guest. Hi, welcome to Guest. Hi, welcome to Guest, all damn day.
Really?
And Julie Duchek walked in, and she's like, wait a second, I know those eyes. Are you Molly Callinan by chance? I said, yes, I am. She goes, I've seen pictures of you. We've worked with the same people. And I'm like, I've seen pictures of you too. I know who you are. And Julie says, this is weird, but there's this band I'm in called Catfight, and I'm leaving because I'm going to do a cruise ship for a year or something. So, and they're looking for a lead girl. Would you be interested in auditioning? And I said, yes. She's like, have you ever been in a band before? I'm like, no. And she said, well, I'm going to put you in contact with the girls. It's an all-girl band, and you can audition and see what happens. And so then I auditioned for Catfight, got the job, and ended up staying in Chicago for Catfight. And now, 13 years later, I'm still singing with the damn band.
It's an iconic band. I mean, that band is, it's an event.
Yeah,
you know? And you guys get... When you do the fest scene here, you get like major festivals. I don't really get to live, because most of the stuff I do are private parties.
Okay.
I do more offshoot, small Chicago fests. So my original band sometimes will be at like Retro and Roscoe and stuff like that, you know. But like you guys get these majorly huge fests, and it's always epic. Like anytime I see a picture of one of the shows. But so What? All right. So wait a minute.
So if Julie
Singing.
had not come into that guest star, I don't know where. I mean, I wouldn't. She walked in and saw my face.
I might have seen you like today, maybe,
don't
and
know
you would have
where
said
I
like, well, welcome to guest. How are you?
Welcome. I might still be there.
You might still be
Welcome
there
to guest.
greeting.
Welcome to guest. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Hold on. So when you did when you did the high school thing, were you in choir at all or anything like that?
No, I wasn't in choir.
I didn't do choir either.
No.
You know what's weird is I was out there and I knew I wanted to sing, but I was too shy to sing in front of my classmates. And
What?
That's the only
Look at you
reason.
now. That's like how you make a living.
Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah,
like I
nuts.
couldn't do it. I was a football player too, and it kind of conflicted.
Okay.
But I couldn't do it.
That's so weird.
But then when I was 16 or 17, I was singing in bars with bands.
Okay.
Because I did some at-home training and whatever. My dad was a singer and all that
gotcha.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of you listeners know that stuff.
Okay.
But it's weird. Like I couldn't, so same thing. Like when I got to college, I tried to grab some choir experience,
Gotcha.
But you didn't do any of that, or
No, I wasn't in choir.
voice training or
No.
anything. So you were naturally able to sing in the high school productions and naturally able to sing
Yep.
in. So I mean, how are you even doing that? Because when you're like doing any kind of theatrical production, for the most part, they're throwing like all the sheet music at you and stuff.
Yeah.
How are you learning parts and things
I
like
do
that?
not read a lick of music.
So how are you learning parts?
Yeah,
This fascinates me.
Well, when you do like like the show at the Muni, they you have like major music days where you sit down and the conductor, the musical director will plunk out like, okay, altos, this is your part, and I sit there with my recorder because the only way I learn is to hear it a million times.
Are they aware of that? Because my musical reading is really pretty terrible, and sometimes I'll get like a major gig for McDonald's or something.
Oh, nice.
But it just so happens that the people that send me stuff, they send everything, because I think they're used to certain singers having different skill sets.
Completely.
So they'll send me like the whole choir, but with my part plucked out, like a record. I'll get MP3s and stuff, and I'll get sheet music and stuff like that. So I mean, are they aware of that in the play?
Yeah, I think they're aware that some people aren't the best at reading music. Yeah, especially because not everyone is even a singer. Like there are a lot of like dancers that get the part and they also sing.
Oh, I see.
So it's like they know
because
that
you're
there's
getting
different
like major
levels.
calls.
Yeah.
So when you're in, when you're in whatever the biggest show you were in, whatever you were just in, they're plucking the part out, you're recording it.
Yep. And then I just learn it on my own time and come back and usually have it.
And the thing is, like, even like I can get it if you're naturally talented and you can sing a lead,
Yeah.
But learning to harmonize and blend, that's something
That's a skill.
that
It
takes some
is.
training.
It is.
So for you to have like no training in that and be able to fall right in, I can't.
Listen,
I'm trying to decide whether or not I hate you.
Yeah, no, I have something that'll make you like me.
Okay.
Like, so when on those days when we hear the music,
Yeah.
and then he'll be like, okay, let's all go over it. Let's try this. And I'm still recording myself. You'll hear, trying to find the note. Like it just sounds like,
Now-
oh my God, who is this girl that sounds like a cat is being
Now,
squashed?
sometimes a director, though, is there ever that time where they're like, wait, something's wrong in this section?
Oh, completely.
So then you just say, like, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yes, I do. They
Yeah.
will stop and be like, okay, all the altos, like, let's, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So yeah, I
And
mean,
to this day, you go through that, and
totally.
then,
but I'll get it. I
Yeah.
will get it. I'm just not a natural musician that
So
reads
in that
music.
moment, because this is good, because we get a lot of listeners who are trying to get into the business and
Yeah.
all that. In that moment, what's your response usually? Like, do you say, well, I'll have this?
Yep,
or
I call it out. I call it out. I just say like, hey, I don't read music, but when I take this home, I play it 900 times, and like the 901st time, I'll get it, and I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll be fine.
And what most of the responses are?
It's fine. It's fine.
That's
Because that's
awesome.
what that day is for, to learn. And then, the next
Oh
day,
my
if I still
God.
suck, then there's going to be a problem.
Right. But that's huge. I mean, that probably opens up a lot of doors for possibilities for people who want to try this and then feel like
For
they're
sure.
limited. Like,
No.
oh, wait a minute, I have a good ear.
Yep.
But still, the actual act, because when I was a kid, my dad was in this like kind of Motown-ish group way back in the 60s and stuff. And they got back together after many years. And I sat and they were so slow about getting back into singing, right?
Okay.
So they're doing these like 5-part harmonies, and I'm in the 8th grade, and I'm just watching. And finally, it just sounded so easy. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. He sings that part. I got it. And this guy, his name was Lucio Barajas. They called him Beto, and he was my first mentor. He was the one who said, Robbie, go ahead. Do you want to try? Yeah, take a, here, you know the pitch. Take the pitch. I thought, oh my God, I'm singing with the guys now. And I had the pitch. I heard it. Like, this is easy. And as soon as all 5 voices came in, I was lost.
Easy to get lost.
I was lost.
Easy to get lost.
So it took so long for that skill to come. And thank goodness, thanks to my dad, I sat through, he let me sit in on all the rehearsals. And then by the time I was in high school, no choir experience yet, but I knew how to harmonize and hold it.
It's a skill.
But I mean, that alone, how did you master that?
Literally just by playing it over and over and over. Like,
Because
I have to have a recording. If I don't, I'm screwed.
Yeah, you're doing some of your pieces. I mean, some of the Broadway-ish stuff is going to have like jazz chords and things like that.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like, that's way more difficult to lock in. And
I'll never forget doing...
High five me right now, man. Come on. Dude.
The musical...
Sorry.
By
the way, this is my first podcast. I've never done the podcast doggy style before, ever.
I think she's doing pretty well.
She really is.
I'm pretty impressed, Penny.
You guys heard in the last podcast, I talked about having a dog, but that podcast was done off-site.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So the dog is fine, just like I said she was in the last podcast. However, the dog still has this, who are you? What are you doing? Which translates into like, rah, rah. And Molly walks in, and I think Penny's a fairly strong female, and now Molly's a strong female walking in the door. And she's like,
who's going to be the alpha female?
I'm the only bitch in this house, So
she's cute. She's giving me the side eye right now.
She's been okay, but I got to tell you, this is thank you, everybody, for listening, by the way. The numbers keep climbing. That's really, really cool. Email me at achatterfact@gmail.com. Got to give a shout out to the listeners real quick.
Yeah, I want to know, who are the listeners?
I knew, because I see the numbers climb, but I can't see.
I'm like, who are we?
Where they're coming from.
Who's listening to
this?
Here's
the funny thing is that, like, I can... I don't know, when I see like 7,000 people have downloaded or whatever, I know for a fact that I can speak for like maybe 30.
Okay.
Maybe 30 people that I know who are friends of mine or whatever, or a few random fans listen. So I'm fascinated, and the numbers climb, but I don't know who these people are.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I've had some little communication. Some people are like singers who want to sing and things like that. A lot of people seem to listen in the office. A lot of people on commutes. But I don't know who these people are. So
who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
You keep putting me in your ear holes. But anyway, Molly, like, bless your heart, man, because so this whole podcast thing, even though lots of people are listening and it's really cool, this is my fun time. I have no social life.
What? Come on.
I'm doing 200 shows a year.
Yeah, but that's social life. Like, I consider that my social life, because if it wasn't, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's my...
there's nothing like that hang just for, lately I've been into stouts lately, by the way, and I'm not beer guy, and it was never beer guy, but I like a good stout.
Ah, yeah.
So lately, after a show, I just want a stout. I just want to chill. There's a thing called Dragon's Milk that I just... It's it's beer that's like aged in bourbon barrels.
Who makes it?
New Holland. I think they're out of Michigan. And man, it's so good. But anyway,
awesome.
Like an hour after the fact, but there's like a rat race, and even though there's like a machine that books me, still, like, since I'm the band leader for Final Say anyway, like 25, 30 hours a week, I'm behind the computer and I'm managing,
getting things done.
Yeah, I'm taking care of all the details, especially for the corporate stuff. There's so much involved. It's a thing. So sometimes you just feel...
So Dave is not in charge of that stuff? You are...
Dave basically... Dave Calzaretta, who kind of changed my life when he found me. I was opening up for the Temptations, and he booked that show. And then he came up to me. He called me up, and he's like, hey, he said the line, I don't know what it is, but I think you have it.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, he was in he was in Maggie Speaks, and they were a major corporate band, and they got so busy they had to make Spoken For a second band. And then they got so busy.
Now isn't there like 6 or something?
There's 3 full-time bands.
Okay.
And then 2 like part-time bands, but they needed at that time they had the 2, and it's too many bookings. They're like, we need another band, and I guess
crazy.
they needed a singer. They couldn't find a singer, so Dave saw me in the show that he booked. And I remember walking to the dressing room. He's like, "Hey, hi, I'm Dave." I'm like, "Hey, Dave." You know what you say when you don't know somebody. I booked this whole thing. Oh, hey, thanks, Dave. I just kept walking.
Sure.
But then he calls, and I didn't know anything about this world that he lives in, the corporate world. And he just, he offered me full-time work and all that. But he said, "I need you. I'll build the band around you if I can get you, And then my brother...
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I knew they were pretty legit when...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my brother Paul, who was actually... he was on the last podcast. A lot of people are liking Paul's podcast. It's me talking about this TED Talk thing and about Rome. And just... It's some funny shit.
That's super cool.
If you've missed that, go back and listen.
Go back and listen.
I was just in Rome, and Rome rocked. You're gonna like the Rome story.
Okay,
yeah.
I've never been.
Oh, it's all just there's a fictional Roman character named Bob, and you just got to listen to that episode to hear about Bob.
Okay.
I've had a lot of people talking to me about Bob. That's all you need to know. Anyway, but yeah, so I started doing that, and what I've noticed is that I'm kind of doing this. I have to market a little bit because I have a brand, you know, and the podcast helps, and my original shows help.
That all helps,
and so it's like a weird thing, and I just sometimes I feel like until I'm away from the crowd, and that's hard to do, like at 2 a.m. or whatever. Sure. Then I'm hanging, but it's hard. It gets a little trickier. So this thing, as great as it is, for whatever it's doing for my career, what's really cool about it is like I get somebody cool. I have some like Irish cream and coffee. I chill for 2. Like this is my social life.
Yeah,
you are in my social life right now.
There
happen to be like earphones and microphones.
That's
cool. But I don't know. Like I guess the good thing about what you do is you travel more than I do. 10% of my year is traveling. Like when you travel, you're able to take that extra day, or like I'm gonna, hang out with a Colombian.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna have a first date.
Yeah, come here, Coffee Bean. Where's the Airbnb? Yeah, man. So I don't know. Like socially, it gets tricky. And then, are you with in your band? Are you really close with the band too?
Yeah. So the Catfight girls were all super tight.
Oh, so there you go. You guys always have a decent hang after the fact, or does it get to the point where like some people are married, some people?
Well, yeah, everyone's definitely got their own. Everyone is like either has a husband or a wife or something. Except for me, I'm the single one.
But that allows you to be.
But they all hang out. You know, we'll have a hang, and then sometimes we don't. But we're for a band called Catfight. We're pretty good.
You guys get along.
It's weird that 5 girls, can get along this well. It's there's like not a bad apple in the bunch.
All right, so hold on. So with this like little bit of like you get a taste of dance and a taste of singing, a taste of harmonizing, and then you're like, I'm going in. It's so mind-boggling because it's like it's seriously like, well, I kind of can doggy paddle.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm going to join this Olympic race, and let's just see how I do. Breaststroke, go.
Yes.
Like, but you've never learned how to. Well, I think she just won. Yeah. She just won. She wasn't she the doggy paddle girl?
It's so weird because honestly, that is sort of what you just said is kind of right. Yeah. I just weirdly dive into things that I probably shouldn't have anything to do with.
I'd say, the combination of mindset and there has to be a lot of nerves, yet that's combined with some fearlessness. Because if you don't feel like you're fearless, I would get that, and that makes you more human to me, which I love. But at the same time, you're probably unknowingly fearless because what you present and the way you present yourself, it's fearless. It's fearless.
So I like to live my life like that, but like you did just say, I am completely human, and I get really fucking nervous too for things like
depression, everything in doing what we do.
That's all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the combination of that mindset of yours with your just basic natural ability. And then obviously if you're doing yoga and you're a person who trains anyway, so you also have a mindset that likes honing yourself.
Yeah.
So you have this natural ability, you're not afraid to hone it, and then just enough fearlessness to like jump into the fray.
Yeah, a lot of times you say like, all right, screw it.
You're the perfect machine.
Live once, let's do this.
Not only are you the perfect machine, but you break the mold and you beat the system. You totally beat, and it's weird considering what you've done I mean, you're traveling the world with Gary Sinise. You're in one of the biggest, festival attraction bands in the city of Chicago. Chicago, that's like the third biggest market in the world. And then you get these like big theater gigs where you're traveling. Like you've kicked the shit out of the system. You didn't beat the system.
Don't know
you killed
how
the
I made
system.
this happen.
You beat it. You threw it in a dungeon.
Well,
like the
as
system is your bitch. It really is.
As you know, it's hard to make a living as a musician.
But that's the other thing that blows my mind because
somehow
you
we are
doing
it.
Yeah, I mean, high five again to that. That might deserve a cheer. So
yeah,
we gotta clank to that.
Yes, let's clank to that. Honestly.
No,
honestly. I always say, like, man, I don't know how I've made this work.
There was a minute where I was asked to leave my current band and get in. There's Jersey Boys, these former Jersey Boys stars.
I can see you doing this.
They started a band called Under the Street Lamp, and there was a minute where they were one of them was leaving, and they were trying to get me in. And I told them, well, I'm not abroad. The whole line here is former Jersey Boys leads. Like I've never been anything like that, and I turned it down because it wasn't my jam. It wasn't free enough to do that, to make that what I did the most, But I had after the deal kind of went south, and I said no because I just said no. It wasn't my thing, and I'm doing well, doing what I'm doing, and I have a lot of freedom. So I'm already as lucky as I can be,
awesome.
Right? But I had the guy on who was leaving. I'm like, oh, let's talk.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's called. Oh, wow, you'd appreciate it because we just drank tequila and had donuts the entire episode. So there's a podcast episode called Tequila and Donuts.
Oh my God!
But we were talking about people and how performers, full timers, or even people, full timers, how they could get tainted and a little dark.
Yep.
And he's like, even if you're, it's at random time that you're performing in front of a crowd that doesn't care, or it happens to be a random small crowd, just because, I don't know, it's a weird, who doesn't have
we
that
have
weird.
Plenty of those, yeah.
Right. He's like
Spinal Tap moments.
Right. And he's like, for you to think that, you deserve this treatment from a crowd. He's like, shame on you. Like you're on stage. If you're on stage and you're getting paid to be on that stage, you're in the 1% of what we do. There are far more people who do what we do who can't make a living doing this. And I always remember that. I always feel like, okay, this is going to work. This is happy time. Why am I'm not going to be angry that not a big crowd's here, or that I'm tired, or that these people want to talk to me 15 minutes longer than I really want to talk. You know, how can I be angry about that?
Well, just like any job, you take the good, you take the bad. Like we have some shitty shows where it's just like, what am I doing with my life? Honestly, I've thought that, but then like you just said, you just remember there's going to be some friggin' awesome ones that make you think like I'm right where I need to be. Awesome. But then just like any job, you have those days where like what am I doing?
I've been lucky enough to be around tainted people, and when I'm around them, I'm always shocked because it was when I was much younger, and I was around them, and they were doing so well, and I just thought, that's never going to be me. I'm never going to, if I get to a point where I'm making a good living doing this, never going to be that guy. Yeah. And I've told this story on the podcast before, but when I first hit town, I was doing like the piano bar thing.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like, this is before anybody knew me in any way. And I was at like the Drake and stuff. And I was in this empty room, and I remember thinking, this sucks. And then I stopped right then and there and said, no, wait, I'm sitting on a stool singing. That's what I'm getting paid for.
That's
Knock
your job.
Off. From that moment on, I've never been, like most people know me as untainted guy.
Yes.
It's like, screw you. Seriously, you my family reminds me often. If I gripe or something, like, you sing and dance for a living.
Exactly. Oh my God.
People sing it. People do what we do for fun. So how, and it's going to be a little weird, but that's another part where the social life gets weird because you're in this weird bubble. And sometimes I have to get out of the bubble. And then by the time I get out of the bubble, it's like, it's 3 a.m. No one's here. I'm just going to the all-night grocery store and walking around.
Totally.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's and then it's hard to find social time on the off days because you're so beat from the on days.
Completely.
So I don't know, like, do you do much Yeah, it gets tricky.
No, I don't go out much because when I'm out with my bands, that's my out time.
And that's such an extreme out in
Yeah.
a way. You know, you're high on adrenaline from just the show.
Totally.
And, yeah. Anything on a Monday afternoon is kind of weird.
Yeah. So my going out in quotes is like I'll take my dog to this brewery that's in my neighborhood.
What's it called?
Vice Brewery.
Yeah.
Vice in the South Loop. They're dog friendly. They like meatloaf more than they like me. They all go, meatloaf!
Your dog's name is Meatloaf?
It is, yeah.
Have you always named your dog's food?
Well, when I got him, his name was Milo, M-I-L-O, and I was like, I don't think I want a dog named Milo. What can I call him that's like meatloaf?
Oh my God, we have to train him to somewhat bark. I would do anything for love. Oh my God. Because then you could put on a long wig and be like the girl in the video.
Yeah. Everyone's like, how did you come up with that? Is it the food or the dude? I'm like, yeah, half and half. Because I do, as you know, I love food and love junk food.
Yeah.
But Meatloaf, the singer's pretty epic too. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to say half and half.
It's just weird because your name's Molly. My daughter's name is Molly, and she always wants to name her pets food.
Food.
Yeah. Penny was going to be Buttercup. And
I like that.
Penne is her middle name. Penny.
Oh,
yeah.
penne, like
so
the pasta?
Yeah, so she still managed to put it in there. Yeah.
I had a cat named Tuna.
Yeah, we have a fish named Pancake. This house makes no sense to me. No sense at all.
I love
You're
that.
not a fish, you're a breakfast dish.
Oh, my God.
But, so you're in Chicago, and hold on. I'm going to refill this. We're going to take the eye blink right now. 1 second.
What does that mean?
That means a quick pause for refilling of libations.
Oh.
Pause.
Up. I'm pretty easy
Boom.
breezy. Oh, hi.
That's your eye blink, folks.
Are we back?
Yeah, it was like 1 second for them, but
Okay.
just enough time for us to refresh our stuff, plates and cups and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, all right. So now let's get into like the nitty gritty because
Okay.
you're a superhero, and then like a gigging superhero, but then
Or a villain. I don't know. Disney villain.
dude, you would make a kick-ass Disney villain, like you would. You've got like a persona, like a weird, over-the-top Maleficent. You could nail that.
Oh my God, I would
nail
love that.
Oh, somebody should write like a weird stage version of that, because that's you.
Yeah.
That could be you'd probably you'd be too good at that, and you'd have to live there. Like then you'd be stuck though. Like in the next
Right.
10 years of your life,
Right.
Maleficent.
Disney.
Oh
Disney.
well, man, make that Disney money too.
Yeah.
So you're in Chicago. Catfight happens.
Yeah.
So when Catfight happens, and you're at the guest store, where you're still doing random theater stuff. Is that what was kind of
No,
artistically?
Rocky Horror had just ended,
Rocky Horror
and I
just-
did not
okay.
have a job. I was looking to figure
you're
out. I was
perfect
going
for
to
Rocky
audition for other things. Oh, Rocky Horror was so great.
Where
It
did that
was so
run?
fun.
Where?
Actually, okay, so I've done Rocky Horror 3 times.
But
Played
the first
Magenta
time?
all 3 times. The first time it was at Chicago Center for the Performing Arts, which was on Green Street, over in like weird area like Chicago.
Oh, South Loop-ish or
no,
South?
it's like Chicago and Grand.
Okay, huh?
Like
all right.
and I will never forget that because it was a very racy production. They
Yeah.
just wanted to push the envelope. The guy that was in charge of it was just like, we're gonna push everyone's buttons. Like this is gonna be something kind of gritty, raw, and whatnot.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Before you get to Chicago,
Yeah.
you're doing some of the, for lack of a better term, kind of like a watered down productions in a way compared to that.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Because
yes.
and then
I was doing like theme parks and cruise ships. Like
Right.
I worked at Walt Disney World for a year, but I played Esmeralda, so I was a good girl then. I did Esmeralda and
I want to see pictures
Hunchback
of that.
Notre Dame show.
All right.
You know.
Well, so it's weird. And by the way, watered down is just technically what they're made of. I don't want any like random Disney princess to be like, "What the fuck, man?
No.
How dare you?" Like
No.
it's just you still have to have the ability to have that presentation,
Yeah, of
but the
course.
intensity that you might go through in other productions. That's my
Yeah,
disclaimer.
yeah.
All right.
He's like, sorry, Disney.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had my daughter on once, and I think she like insulted farmers unintentionally. I was talking about the 7 dwarfs, and I'm like, those guys must have been sitting on some cash, right? Because,
oh my God.
Because they're like, let's think about it. Like they're jewels. Like every day they kept mining jewels, right?
Oh my God.
It's not like they were mining blueberries and my 4-year-old daughter's like, oh yeah, you're not going to make any money, farming blueberries. I'm like, well, yeah, but the farming industry it's a very upstanding industry still.
God, you have to be so careful these days,
I know.
though, right? God.
Bickering dog, daughter insulting farmers. This is my life. but anyway, so you're in the when you got to Chicago, was that the first time it got a little more extreme as far as this is more hardcore theater?
That was my first like real theater production.
Okay, so then when you show up, because when you show up at like the Disney thing, the good thing is, a person with a high school background in theater could pull a lot of that stuff off, and all that. But then when you get to this place where, let's face it, probably over 90% of these people have been trained all their lives.
Totally. Or they went to Northwestern in the musical theater show, they know how to do this.
They've designed themselves to be on that stage.
Yeah.
Now, when you're in that arena, did you already notice like, okay, this is a different ball game?
Yes, I knew it, and I'll tell you what I did: fake it till you make it.
Okay, so how did
nobody knew.
Yeah.
I mean, I go in and I do this for a lot of jobs. I go in and just like, you just pretend like I am like so comfortable, even though I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like they're gonna send me home, like I'm not right, or like they're gonna realize I'm a fake. But I got hired for a reason. They hired me for a reason, and I just go in with the confidence like I'm gonna nail this. I got this. But meanwhile, I'm shitting my pants.
The other thing that blows my mind, because you're physically fit. Like, it seems like you have yourself built so that you can do anything physically. But then when you get there, all of a sudden, the choreography, like, what do you do? Like, you're suddenly in a situation where there are, some difficult choreographed, and then the timing. Because I was flown to Texas 2 years ago, because somebody saw me somewhere and they said I looked enough like Pitbull that they wanted me to be Pitbull, right?
What?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, all right. And
what did you have to do?
I had to learn, I can't remember what song it was, some Pitbull song, right? And then they had this amazing singer who was supposed to be, Christina Aguilera. So whatever song they do together.
Oh, they do, I just want to feel this moment.
Yeah, feel this moment, yeah. So I get there, and the choreographer is Madonna's choreographer.
Shut
now,
up.
Have you seen me? You've probably seen me perform.
I've seen you perform,
okay, so
but
I can dance and jump around.
Oh yeah, you're pretty crazy.
There's a thing. So, and I have enough rhythm.
I feel like one of the first times I saw you was when it was after like a race. Did you play some race?
Oh yeah, like one of those 10K
show
at Soldier Field there. You run those?
Yeah.
Oh man, see.
Yeah.
Like, I physically want to be you. Man, you.
Okay, so
I'm there in
Pitbull
Texas, and it's Madonna's choreographer.
I can't believe that.
So, to be honest, I just got by learning.
Is that a guy or a girl? Like, he was
a very strong gay man.
Okay, sure.
And I barely knew the rap. Like, I got there like, okay, I know the rap just enough, but I have to keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they didn't have much time when they flew me there.
He's no joke. His stuff's fast.
Oh, it's so fast. And I'm not a big fan of me rapping. I like rap music. I don't like rapping. It's just a thing. I'm a singer. I want to sing. So anyway, I get there. I'm like, getting paid all this money to rap one song. This is crazy.
That's amazing. What a gig.
But what I wasn't prepared for is they had all these professional dancers around me. And it was a big production. I don't know who it was for, but it was huge. Well, I mean, if they're getting Madonna's choreographer, right?
That's insane.
So
that's...
I'd never been in this world where, like, you have to say this word, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and on 7 you have to turn your head this way and move your hips this way, and then you got to say dale, like what is going on?
That's how it is.
And it was so intense,
out of control.
and there was so many movements, and they were all on these weird counts. Like on the 7, you have to like switch your feet and turn this way, and then you're in the middle of this line. I'd never done anything that intense ever, and I kind of had to do what you did. I just kept memorizing the whole thing, like, okay, just remember this. I was making mental notes, but at one point the producer who was really cool, and he was a nice guy. He's the guy that actually had seen me perform and said, no, this guy could do anything. And I'm like, almost anything. But, but I get there, and the Madonna's guy like turns to him, and he's like, who is this guy?
No.
He's like, well, no, he's
this
guy performs all over the world. He's in a band. And as soon as he said that, the choreographer's like,
that means
band
non-dancer.
A band guy. Band guys. So cut to me in Texas, where I guess it was Dallas. Everybody just goes out and starts having drinks and hanging out. I'm in my hotel room, just in my boxers, going over this choreography all night long, because you only had one rehearsal, and all night long. And then the next day, we had the dress rehearsal, and then I nailed it, and then nailed it at the show. But it's
a lot of pressure.
I was in such a bad place all night long. The panic and everything.
I get it. Yes, I get it.
So
especially those one-offs where it's like this is your chance. You have to nail it now or you're done. Like there's no second chance. You just have to get it.
It was terrible. And so that's what fascinates me about what you jumping into this stuff. How did you get to that point? Because you're physically fit and you can move, but now you're doing this stuff that's out of your wheelhouse, because everybody in that room, except for me, had done something like this before. So for them, it was like, oh, gotcha, sure, 7, 8, turn, twist, 7.
Yep.
They all had it down. I was the only one that looked, it was a sitcom moment where I looked like that goofball. I looked like Joey from Friends or something, like trying to pretend he could dance. So like when you're in that, how do you handle that? Especially, have you been in that situation where like, oh man, these are fancy?
Of course, I've been in over my head a few times, and I fake it. I friggin' fake it. I fake a lot of shit, honestly.
And and you're looking at a professional dancer next to you, and you guys are doing maybe some move that is totally like, oh, that's textbook high-end dance. We got to spin and then curl our toes and then stop and blink, and then you see that and you're just like, well, I got to get it.
I got to practice my ass off in order. Sometimes
but you're doing that
extra.
stuff.
You're
doing jumps in the air or
sometimes,
whatever it is.
Sometimes, definitely.
And now, like, it's just muscle. Like, your brain is just built that way to handle it, because it's so much like all the different movements that they sometimes squeeze into this little time frame that you have to memorize. And these dancers are able to memorize it on the spot, I've noticed. What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? No, it is what it is. I have to try extra hard to learn my dance parts, because I'm not a dancer. I have to learn extra hard to learn my vocal parts, because yes, I'm a singer, but I don't read music. So I have to try extra hard.
You fascinate me, dude.
That's how it is.
Oh man, the last person that fascinated me this much was a singer who like grew up in a cabin in normal times, but without plumbing. And that's really random and weird, right?
Yeah,
you fascinate me that much. Like you're at that level. You're at I don't have indoor plumbing level with me now. We've just reached that level. What the hell? So, will you sometimes like YouTube something, or like, okay, here's whatever, a pirouette or whatever? Like, do you do any other research, or are you just like, no, here's what they want me to do, I'm just going to do it?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Will you ask another dancer sometimes?
Of course. I ask for help all the time. I do.
This is insane, because now, do you have an agent?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And the agent, this is just crazy, because you're getting all these gigs. Like, you get a lot of cool theater gigs.
I fake it, man.
Man, cheers me again.
Cheers to that.
What?
Yeah. Cheers.
This is insane.
Yeah. I tell my friends, anytime I get a gig, I'm always like, well, I fooled him again. Like that's how I live my life.
I guess the lesson to anybody out there is like, try to get as much training as you can get.
Of course, yeah.
But if you're not, then just get yourself physically to the best point you possibly can, where you can do anything, so that then it's just a brain game all of a sudden. Then it's just a matter of like, all right, I got to focus so I can my body can do it. I just have to get my brain to the point where it's remembering and telling my body what to do.
Don't get me wrong. I always when I did a show with a bunch of Northwestern people who apparently that's an amazing musical theater school, and they're all just top of their game. I had to go through all this stuff, and I wish that I had some training, and so I knew how to read music. I could actually dance. I just think where would I be if I did that in my youth instead of, but I am where I am, and
You have a presence.
I keep working, so
Yeah.
I'm doing something.
I mean,
right?
people want you, when they're putting you in these things, and it's weird because your resume now is impressive enough to get you at gigs anyway. But even if they were to like dig deeper and see research, and if they were to just go by paper without like your past gigs that you've done,
Yeah.
It wouldn't put you like, it would be hard for you to compete with these other people. Yet there's something about you, like they want you. You just have this thing. Obviously, it's crazy, man. And then the singing thing, like how was that hard? Because without experience, to suddenly jump into this band world where you're doing a 2-hour show, or you know what I mean? Like that could be hard on the voice.
Yeah, totally. The band world was definitely a process, because when I first jumped into it, and because I don't have any training, I would sing rock and roll music, and I was doing 3 or 4 nights a week with these different bands, and I was singing improperly.
Oh, sure.
And so I got nodules.
Oh, yeah.
I got.
It's harder to find people who haven't had them at this point.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And I remember back when it happened, I was like super weirded out and ashamed, and I thought,
no.
I can't tell people about this because they won't want to book me or hire me, because I'm the girl that like had to go get nodules removed from her cords,
Yeah.
And so I was really like, I didn't tell. I just said like, I'm taking a hiatus for personal reasons, but I didn't tell people. It was just because I have to get these calluses removed from my vocal cords. But now, yeah, it's just like I've realized it's just like any person that's an athlete. Your knee is going to, if you are playing soccer for years and years and years, you're going to have a bad knee.
Right.
And you might have to take care of it. Well, that's what I had to do with my cords.
There are trained opera singers out there that get nodes.
Yeah.
So it's just not just prone to somebody who
Yeah.
overuse is huge. Technique
Totally.
is enormous, but overuse is huge.
Yeah.
I've actually been singing with them for about
You have them?
for about 2 years.
What?
Yeah, and
Are
I didn't
yours
even.
manageable then? Like
Yeah, they told me don't worry about it right now, and I'm
Okay.
like, are you sure?
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, do you think you can like linger like this till you're 70? I'm like, I don't know. You're the doctor,
Wow.
But I went in and just for like, because I always kind of get my throat scoped
Mm-hmm.
just to see what's going on. Now I did have like a few years where my singing partner had nodes. Allison had nodes.
Oh yeah.
And that the 2 years that she did it was making me sing like a lot to help her out.
Okay.
She was showing up a lot with like, I don't know,
Shit, yeah, that's so hard.
But all the people I know that had them, like it really knocked them on their asses.
Yeah.
So I never thought I had them because I seem to be doing fine. There's like a little bit of my highest register that's gone down.
Yeah.
But besides that, I've been having a pretty easy time. So when I went there and they told me, oh my God, really? Are you sure? Go back in. And they're like, no, you do. And then they started having me do scales and did this test on me. And the doctor just said, I think you're doing all right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That means
really? Like I heard this is going to kill me and I want to do this for the rest of my life. Like,
yours must be slight then. I mean,
I don't know.
But
there's
that's good.
Yeah, because everyone else, I'm friends with so many people, and it like took them out. Like
Yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
not useless, but they were, a shell of themselves.
Yep.
So I'm lucky right now. But I mean,
Okay,
everybody
good.
gets that
Yeah.
stuff. So you get that, and then, let me ask you this. So you're doing, if you go from Disney cruise ships and then jump into Catfight, and
Yeah.
guys, look up Catfight. Like, I don't know if you guys have a website or if you
we just
need
have
one.
a Facebook. It's like Catfight Band Chicago.
Find this band.
We're crazy. We're out of our minds.
Seriously, just a bunch of hot chicks on stage going insane. So even that culture is different from you.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between Disney princess
Totally.
and band. And did they tell you right off the bat, like, well, put on a cat suit or?
No, that's me. That's me. I've always like, I started doing that in the band because like that's how I like to express myself. I'm like, okay, so we are playing Market Days, which is like big gay festival coming
Yeah.
up August 13th.
Yeah.
And that's my one show where I go out of control and I get some crazy outfit. And I look for that outfit for the entire year. You know what I mean? Like and people are honestly like, what is she going to wear this year?
But early on, when you're in year one of that.
Okay, yeah.
How did you approach it?
Yeah, I just always like to push the envelope a little bit.
Okay.
Like, when I first started, we were playing like, boogie oogie oogie and wearing like, jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we like, dressed like schoolgirls and like did some like, Red Hot Chili Peppers or, like just trying to push the envelope, do something a little different. And, next thing you know, we're all wearing the fishnets and we're doing AC/DC and, I don't know. It's just
just happened.
It's just sort of morphed into this thing. And each year we got a little crazier with our outfits, with our songs, with everything. And
were you a little shy doing a different type of stage show the first time going up there on like in a band setting? Or did you just kind of go? You just went for it?
Yeah, I was not. It felt really natural. It felt really natural.
Because it's so, again, like people have to find you on the theater stage and on the Catfight stage. Like, I think it would be quite an experience to see you in both.
It's
if somebody could see that in the same month, that would be so cool.
You know what's funny? My 3 steady gigs that I have right now, there couldn't be more different. Like the Mastro's thing, I wear a dress.
The steakhouse.
That's the steakhouse.
Okay.
I wear a dress and heels, and it's kind of like it's a 5-star steakhouse. It's kind of a little classy affair. And so I always
what
say,
do you sing in there? Kind of
just like standards. Like I'll do like At Last or this. It's kind of the same shit that we all that we always sing. But that is like my little classy moment where I'm, kind of dressed up and it's a little fancy. And then the Lieutenant Dan band is military and it's like a little bit, it's conservative and we just wear black and, he doesn't like anything flashy.
Okay, that's Gary Sinise.
Yes.
Huh.
And then Catfight is just like, like you said, I'll wear a bikini, I'll wear a cat suit, just all sorts of weird stuff. So it's all so different, and that's why it's pretty cool because I get to just have these different outlets.
How do you manage the theater thing? Because then sometimes you'll get something that takes you on the road for a month or something.
Yeah.
So then.
The main thing that I have to clear it with is the Lieutenant Dan band. So I remember I wrote Gary an email and I was like, hey, Gare, you know how you founded the Steppenwolf Theater? Because he's from here and he's a theater guy. So I sort of just was like, well, I've always been a part of this world too. And, I got this really great opportunity and it's an actors equity gig. So, they offer health insurance with X amount of weeks. There's this thing I really want to do. I got offered this or that.
You're an equity.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
I'm like, how would you feel if I took a little tiny like hiatus from the band and did the show? But I really want to make sure I have my job back when I come home. And he's always been really cool. He just said like, well, I hate that you won't be around, but I understand if you have to do what you have to do. So
he's a nice guy.
He's great. Yeah. He's always allowed me to take what I need to take.
Okay. So before I get into Lieutenant Dan band, first off, I want to know because I'm fascinated by the theater thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any like goofy, weird theater tale? any weird mishaps on stage? That you're like, damn it.
You know what? Yes. Are you kidding? Yes. All kinds of stuff. I mean,
'cause I don't know that world that well to know like what can go wrong. But I think you're even like if something goes a little off or wrong for you, it might even be more intense because you're already in this kind of intense headspace of, all right, I gotta get this. I'm gonna match everybody here.
Oh yeah, sure.
But like,
oh man, so I did this staged reading. This was actually last year. So staged reading, you just kind of get thrown into this thing and they're trying to shop a show to like different producers, different theaters. But it just means that you have the book, so you're not off book, but you're reading the music. You're reading, you have a little bit of rehearsal and then you just do the show, but you carry your script around.
Oh, wow.
And
that's how they shop plays sometimes.
Yes.
I did not know that. Cool.
So I was in the ensemble and so I kind of played different characters and I kind of got like a little confused, like turning the pages, and my pages were kind of wrong. And like, long story short, I left this poor girl on stage, not knowing that it was my turn to go out on stage. And she's out there waiting for she said her last line and was like, waiting. And I'm like backstage. I was supposed to enter. I just left her. And she just was like, kind of like looking around. It was quiet. And I think she started to like ad-lib, just say some ridiculous stuff. And I was just backstage, just missed it. And someone backstage was like, Molly, I think you're supposed to be on right now. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, and I grabbed my script and I was like, oh shit. Oh, and I felt so bad.
You were supposed to be in a conversation with her?
Yes, I was supposed to be. I was supposed to answer. The whole thing was like, yes, and I just left her hanging.
Do you
like
remember
a
what
dick.
what was the storyline in that conversation?
It was just the worst. I felt so.
Because I wonder what her ad lib was. Like, well, it's sure pretty out today. You know, some.
Yes, I mean, I literally left her.
Not every actor is
threw her
trained
under the bus.
Is trained to improv either.
No.
So for some people,
I'm such a dick. God.
Well, it's springtime. It seems to be rolling in.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I felt like that's the worst feeling when you not only screw up for yourself, but then you fuck up the other person too.
Yeah, at least
like,
somebody hanging.
I apologize so much.
I thought you were going to have some kind of weird moment where everybody turned, but you turned when they weren't supposed to turn. Or, they all walked and you leapt.
I'd rather do that than leave an actor hanging. Like that was the worst feeling.
That culture is interesting though, because it's a weird... There seems to be there can be more of a Catfight kind of, it's funny that you're in a band called Catfight that basically gets along, but then the theater world can be more of a Catfight kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
a little bit of a dog
for sure.
Everyone, willing to cut each other's throats in that world.
Yeah.
And now this is interesting. I was in the closest I ever did to like a Broadway thing. It was at the Star Plaza Theater, which I think they're closing that place down. I don't know if it's in Maryville, and it's big. Whatever, 3,500 people, and they did a Broadway review, and they had these trained dancers and singers come in. And it was just a review. They had all these cool scenes, random spot of West Side Story and blah, blah, blah. And they asked me to do it because the music director knew me and saw my show and said, well, I want you to do your dancing and your stuff, but I want we're going to have you sing Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, love that
and
show.
you're going to be surrounded by 20 professional dancers, and you just watch where they are. And then you do your thing in the midst of this professional, this professional performance. I'm like, oh God, that's awesome, But it's funny when I got in there.
Some cool gigs too.
I got some
awesome.
It was a cool gig.
That sounds great.
But when I got there, they had 6 principal singers who were just, and I was one of the 6 principal singers who just did multiple whatever. One scene I was Tony, Maria, doing all that. Some of the singers hated my guts. They gave me shit.
That happens.
And they gave me shit because I wasn't a theater person. And this guy walks in and he's getting the leads, and he's getting some of the good leads, that I think I should get. I mean, the girls, it's weird. I really got along well with the female dancers. That was kind of cool.
I'm sure you did.
But some of the girl singers, they weren't happy. They're like, what? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to I'm not stealing your part.
Right.
But just the concept of this band guy walking in, it was weird, man.
Yeah.
It was a strange, I didn't even know how to process it.
I get that, yeah. I pretty much get along with anyone, but not everyone is into me. You know what? Yeah,
because you walk in and you're like, "What she did? It's not fair. It's not fair." And there must be a thing,
Yeah, not everyone's gonna like us.
Well, that's a pretty good horror story, though. That's not bad, leaving somebody hanging.
No, I felt terrible. But one of my ultimate moments that was just so cool for me that I'll never forget.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think to ask that.
What's that? I did the musical Hair.
Yeah.
And in Hair, it's a story about the war and choosing peace over war, and it's hippie and 70s, and you get naked, 100%.
Wait,
naked.
Like how naked?
Full naked.
You like nips and privates?
Everything.
In Hair?
Yeah.
I've never seen the play.
Yeah,
is this how that play has always been?
Always. You get naked. And
do they rate theater, is there rated R for nudity, or is there?
I mean, I think when people do that show, most people know that that's the thing. So it's the end of Act 2. People are just having this moment, and everyone just starts to we're singing, and you slowly are
no bra, no panties.
No.
Dudes too.
dudes too. And there was
nips are out, members.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
And
I don't know how many ways I could keep asking that question.
And because it was from the 70s, we were told to grow out everything. So
wow.
we all had.
So you had everything you needed.
Giant bush, armpit
Underarm
hair.
too?
I personally couldn't do armpit hair because I was still doing mastros. You can't really sing at a steakhouse with like underarm hair.
Sure.
So I didn't do that, but we grew out our eyebrows, we grew out our bush. All the girls grew out their armpits, and I'll never forget
a new meaning to the title hair.
Hair, yeah, that's what it's about.
What?
I'll never forget so you rehearse that scene, but then the first time that you actually strip, the producers want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, so we all are in our positions, and he's just like, okay, guys, we just got to go for it.
Oh my God.
This is what it is, so we just got to go for it. And you know what? It was awesome. Like,
really?
Yes.
Even at the rehearsal stage, or were you a little like, let's just...
The first time, I think we were all a bit. It was like, oh, here we go. But it's like this beautiful thing. We're all doing this song.
How many people are butt naked on the stage, do you think?
Like 20.
Wow.
20. And we were in rows, and I was in the second row, but we were kind of staggered, so you could kind of see everyone. And they had told us, they had said, oh, it's shadowed big time, so you just will see like silhouettes. And my friend that came to opening night, he's like, no, it was not shadowed. He's like, I saw your bush. Yeah. But then once we did it once, it was just like, oh, here's that part where we get naked. Like, big deal.
It's shadowed. Don't worry about it. It's shadowed.
Yeah.
No, it's actually no shadow of a doubt that they're going to see your bush, is what I meant to say.
Totally.
Wow.
Let me just say, that part wasn't even like... For me, the hardest part was you're naked on stage, sing, blackout. Then we had to run off stage and run past the band. The band is back there. And then there were robes for us. So there was this like moment. It was pretty dark, but there was still, I was like, oh my God, hi band. And then you grab your robe and then you're good. Then you walk upstairs to your room and,
That's got to be weird because on stage you're so caught up in the rapture of the moment and it makes sense.
Yes.
But then when you're off stage, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm just this naked chick in front of the band.
Totally.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Wow. How many times were you naked? Like how many shows?
I mean, I ran for maybe like 2 months or something.
Butt naked. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's a thing. Every time, if you do hair and you don't have that moment, which some theaters choose not to, it's just like sort of, no, like that's the point. Like that's, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I can say I sang a song completely naked on the stage, Not
many people can say that. Oh, take that, shower singers. All right, fine, man. So then when does Lieutenant Dan Band come along? How'd that happen?
Lieutenant Dan Band. Okay, Julie Duchek, we keep bringing her up.
Yeah.
She pretty much got me the gig. I mean, I auditioned, but she was the one. So there was another girl that had been in it the whole time, and there's so much travel, and this girl, had a boyfriend and a dog, and was just sick of all the travel. There was a ton of travel, and just said like, you know what? I think I just want to stay home and do my own acoustic stuff. And so she just was like, I'm done. Oh. So they were having auditions, and Julie was like, I know this girl Molly, so they had me audition, and then I got the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the audition process like?
The audition process was...
Because again, folks, this is Gary Sinise, the actor.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, talk about faking it. I was so nervous. I was so nervous because my audition was, they flew me out to St. Louis to... my audition was a sound check. So they gave me like 3 songs to learn, and they said, we're going to do your songs at sound check. If it goes well, we'll throw you into the show that day.
Whoa.
If it doesn't, we're just going to take a pass, and we'll let you know, we'll just like whatever. So my audition, I learned all I learned like the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, so that they knew I could harmonize.
Nice.
Then like I sang the Love Song by Sarah Bareilles, and
I love that song.
I know, me too. Janis Joplin's Piece of My Heart. So I had those 3 things that they were going to have me do. So sound check starts, and there's this 13-piece band that they're all like kick-ass musicians, and I got so nervous. And I didn't know. I was like, well, do I sing like there's an audience and like I go all balls to the wall, or do I just kind of, they just want to hear my voice? And I mean, I was really legitimately like really nervous, but I was like, all right, don't screw this up. Like, don't screw this up. And it went well. I did well. They threw me into that show.
Wow.
I got to sing my songs.
And once you were in the show in front of the crowd,
that felt totally fine. I don't care about that.
You went all Catfight on it.
Yeah,
then.
but it's just that initial like, I'm being judged. They're you know, like that is the hardest part for me. And it's Gary Sinise.
Jeez.
And so then like afterwards I hadn't heard like, you know, I wonder, am I going to get this? Are they going to throw me in? And the musical director said, yeah, he liked you. We're going to throw you in and see how you do. And I knew that once I was on the stage and it was a show, I would be fine.
Then it's go time.
Yeah.
So then how often are you doing, you know, is it like 40 gigs a year? 30?
About
40.
About 40
And then when
a year.
you do, it's often, I mean, you guys are all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you guys take some trips.
Yeah,
What's the most exotic place you've been to with that band?
Kuwait. We went to Kuwait.
Wow. Okay.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah,
you know, that was
on the actual, like in the barracks and the whole thing.
Yeah, it was and it was it's a military base. I can't think of what it was actually called.
Did you have a fancy tour bus? Pretty good, pretty nice. Like not amazing, but pretty nice.
No, we don't have like a tour bus.
But out there, was it a USO show? Because I did a USO show in Bosnia.
USO. Oh, you went to Bosnia?
Yeah, and there was a decent
Holy shit.
there was a decent tour bus. But then we're surrounded by Hummers and dudes with big guns everywhere.
Right.
Were you surrounded by the guys with guns, or because the next year was going to be Kuwait, and I didn't, you know, or Afghanistan? I don't know. Whatever the next year was, my wife actually said, you know, you did it once. I'd
rather have you not.
Yeah, you were around, you were there, and minefields and everything. Like,
I get that.
You're good, right? And I'm like, all right,
yeah.
good. So I didn't do it. But
I mean, who can say they've been to Bosnia?
No, it was
that's crazy.
In Kosovo, it was a tour. You know, it was a USO tour.
Was that with your own band?
No,
or
that
was
with this a cappella group called
Okay.
Stormy Weather, and apparently they just sold a lot of like CDs out there, and the soldiers liked them, and I
That's
was
so
doing a lot of work
cool.
with them. So yeah, that
I'm
was.
finding out all about you. I
That's
didn't know
what
this
is all
about you.
man.
I didn't know.
yeah. But that's why I was wondering, because I remember being in the tour bus, which was, you know, it was really nice because you're driving all over this countryside. But they said, you know, oh yeah, this is what Toby Keith drove. Every performer, no matter who you are, you know, that uses the same tour bus. So I wonder if they had kind of like that situation for you guys. Once you landed, were you in like a bus? Or?
Yes, we were on a bus, but it wasn't fancy.
Okay.
It wasn't fancy. Sometimes we do get fancy, and sometimes we do not.
I know
sometimes
in some areas
it's
for the USO stuff,
bare.
though, you can't.
Yeah.
Too, because like the fancier something looks.
Yeah, ours was not. It was
the
like
more dangerous it is, because then they think it's like someone important, and then you could be in trouble. Because when we were on a couple different bases, but when we got to Bosnia, that base we had to walk out with like helmets on and like the bulletproof vests and stuff.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then everybody else was like super friendly, like, oh hey, come on in, welcome, all the fun, the soldiers are here, but we love you, blah blah blah. You know, every other base was super awesome. Kosovo, I'm like walking around in the morning, and all the Black Hawk pilots were there, and I took some pictures on the Black Hawk, you know, copter, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, what do you guys do? Well, you know, we just fly around and then we shoot people because they keep trying to get through the border. Like, oh, okay. Well,
I'm a singer.
I'm like, get a bagel. You want a bagel? You know, it's like so weird. But
what year was this?
Oh my God, this is probably like 15 years ago, something like 12 years ago. But then when I went to Bosnia, you walk out and it's just dudes holding guns on you, American soldiers, and they're like, let me see your credentials.
Yeah.
You know, no jokes. I don't care who you are, because if you're the wrong person, I'm going to shoot you right now. And I'm like, okay,
slightly creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys know the Kosovo guys with the Black Hawks? Because they were really fun.
They were cool.
Yeah, and they were never. I mean, then I get I guess it's way more serious. It was at that area. And then you went in, and it was fine. And then some of the barracks, I remember we had decent place to stay, but then a few other times you're just in a barracks, like a bare, kind of shitty barracks. Were you in anything like that? Like because I've never heard anyone else that's done this.
Yeah, so we stayed where I was in a female barracks, basically. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was cool.
So were you basically like? Because I remember eating really well. Like the mess halls were kind of awesome. Was it okay, or did you eat with soldiers?
I don't remember eating real well. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Kuwait, man, you never know. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. Walk me through some of this, though. You get out there and, like, what was it like?
I mean, like, it was just like a sea of dudes in their their outfits, in their military outfits.
Even though the Lieutenant Dan band tends to be more conservative,
Yeah.
in presentation, do they have you sex it up a little bit? No. Okay, I didn't know because Bob Hope would go out there and be like, "All right,
here's some ladies." Yeah. No. We're pretty conservative.
The weird thing is, it probably doesn't matter because it's a lot of people far away from home.
They're just happy to see a band.
But I also think like even girls and guys just must be like, I love you so much. We would have sex with everybody on the stage for America.
It's been forever.
It's been forever. I know you don't have to, but take your shirt off. We saw you in hair. We heard what you do. Like, no, this isn't hair. No, but I mean, there was a thing because we had like a lady. She was an older lady, but she held up really well. And I mean, when we got to hang out with some of the soldiers afterward, and like a lot of these soldiers were just, they would die for her because it's like a girl.
Yeah. We've been over here for 2 years. A girl.
So the response, I figure, when you're singing a lead, you must feel like a lot of
so much.
There's appreciation, but there's also a lot of like, somehow you can feel our testosterone, can't you? Like an aura.
Yeah,
of just,
people love it. People love it.
Oh man, but I think it's an honor to do that for those dudes. It's weird because the way I was looking at it was, like, I don't even care if you agree or disagree with like where soldiers are placed or whatever. All I kept thinking was, these dudes are willing to be here for us and for whatever their cause is. Like, oh my God. And it made me sing harder and it made me shake every hand because it's an honor to perform.
Of course.
For like, we'll never know that. Like, what do we have? Like, oh man, I might have to sing an extra song tonight where these dudes are like, oh man, I might get shot on a wall. Like,
totally.
There's no way we can compare notes there. Like, oh yeah, but you guys don't understand. Like, I know you might get shot, but I twisted my ankle singing My Girl. I did a spin. You guys ever have that happen? Like, shut up and get in the barracks.
Singing My Girl.
Get this guy out of here.
Oh my God.
We have bullets, you idiot. We use bullets.
God.
Go away.
That's...
So it's like, I don't know. But were you able to, it's not like you can look around Kuwait.
No. We were not allowed.
But when you get off the plane, what was the experience like?
Honestly, when we got off the plane, went straight to the hotel. We weren't allowed to like go do.
Oh, there was a hotel though, so that's cool. Okay.
We for one of the nights, yes. And then
what was it like? Was it a city then, or was it like what did you see? Like the drive from airport to hotel, like.
It just looked very dry, and we didn't get to see like the city, which I heard is like big and booming. I didn't get to see that.
It looked remote and like desert-ish, okay. Wow, man, you have to be freaking out. That's always an experience when you're making that drive and you're looking around like, what?
Yeah.
Like, where am I right?
Exactly.
Like, and you realize that's nuts.
Yeah.
So then you get to the hotel, and then how soon is showtime after that or sound check?
God, I think we got there that night. We stayed at the hotel, then we went to the show, and we do the show and then stay in the barracks and then go straight home.
Was it the kind of hotel where you can chill, have a drink, or was it just?
No. There's no drinking in in Kuwait. It's a dry town, so you are not allowed to drink.
Okay.
There's no porn. There's no drinking. We actually had to like clear. This is funny. Well. They said clear your phone of any, if you have nudie pictures or racy pictures, like
really?
just and it basically said we had to sign this thing that like there's absolutely no booze, no porn. They're very strict on these things for whatever reason. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And then when you do the show, like that's a huge crowd.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And then after the show, what was the barracks like for you?
We were just in the barracks ourselves. It was just like us girls. So we weren't. We had our own little.
Was it a bed, a cot?
Yeah, just like like a little cot.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, man. And then did they just have like meals for you backstage or something like that?
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
And you're sleeping in a barracks.
It was a pretty cool experience. Yeah.
So have you done a lot of things like that with the Lieutenant Dan as far as like overseas for troops and stuff?
You know, I mean, we went to Japan and we went to.
I want to go to Japan.
Yeah. Japan was pretty badass. Yeah. We went to Korea and we got to go to the DMZ. That's the border of North Korea and South Korea.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like literally where we were standing on the line.
Some of that stuff
and
is dangerous.
The North
too,
Korean
you know?
guards are standing right here, and the South Korean guards are right here, and we're just looking in each other's eyes. It was so weird.
And is that where you're performing?
We performed. I mean, obviously in South Korea.
Yeah.
But we just took the tour. Like they brought us there to see that, and they're standing there with their guns and just looking at us, and we're looking at them, and so weird.
Oh, that's the thing. God, you can't. Those are experiences that you remember for the rest of your life.
Totally. Yeah.
I wanted you to walk us through that because not many people get to experience that.
We were just told like don't smile at them.
This is in Korea.
Yeah.
To either soldier or just
to the North Koreans.
Yeah, don't smile.
Don't. Yes, you can make eye contact, but just don't. They just said don't.
So did you like not even make eye contact?
Oh no, I did.
You did.
We looked in each other's eyes. Yes.
Wow.
But it just said like don't emote.
Because if I'm told that, like I wouldn't have even made the eye. I'm just like I'm looking away.
Yeah.
I'm just looking south.
Yeah, no, we were like this close.
Oh my God!
Staring at
the
North Korean soldiers.
Yeah, anytime anybody's just holding like a major firearm near you, it's just. I don't know. It's
creepy.
Off-putting no matter what.
Creepy.
I mean, everywhere we walked, guys followed us with rifles. On the Bosnia thing, but they were after a while. They're like, "Yeah, man, I'm from Southern Indiana."
Yeah, they're just like some dudes.
Then you start talking. By the end of it, I don't know if they were even allowed to. Like, I'm taking a picture. I'm holding the rifle, and they're all around me.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and then I'm like, "Hey guys!" There was one time because we're in the mountainside of Bosnia at a little weird rundown village coffee shop. And it's in the middle of a mountain. There's nothing else around. And, by that time, I'm really getting to know these guys. I was the only one that kind of strayed a little bit because I was allowed to. And everyone else just stayed huddled near the van or near the table. But I just, I pushed the envelope a little bit as long as they would let me. Mm-hmm. And they let me I had 4 soldiers around me everywhere I went. So by the end of it, I was the only one.
Personal bodyguards.
Yeah, it felt kind of badass.
Yeah.
Everywhere I walked, they're like, oh, there's that wandering guy. All right, let's follow him. So I had these dudes with guns. But I have pictures. I should post these pictures. The one picture is me holding the gun. They're all around me. And then the other one were by the Hummer because, again, these Hummers with giant guns on them are following us. I'm like,
Crazy.
all right, guys, here we go. We get a map out, and I'm like yelling at you guys, telling you which way because you guys are lost. Okay, so I'm like staging pictures with these guys, and they were so cool.
And they're like allowing that.
Yeah, they're allowing it. They were so normal. I'm sure there was like, they've probably seen that before, and there's probably like one guy where they're like, all right, hey, Billy, we have an idiot here, and we're going to play with him. That's fine. But you just stay off to the side and just keep watching the perimeter because, Singer Boy wants to play games. You're like,
Singer
okay,
boy.
no, sure, we'll take the picture with you. Okay. Billy, get over there while Stupid takes the picture with us.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I'm like having a blast, but I didn't realize there's probably some dude like off to the side, like, got to keep looking around.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to look for the bad guys.
Idiot wants to play games. And I'm like, now I have to look everywhere. God damn it. Take the picture.
Right.
It was like a weird, but they were so cool.
Yeah.
They were so cool. And then you realize, one of them's talking to me. He missed his child's birth. And, it's just, how do you do this? I have nothing to compare that to.
Yeah.
Because all of them had been in some sort of firefight too. And again, I have nothing to say to that.
Absolutely
When they're like,
not. No,
they were days
nothing.
ago, one of them was in like a firefight, like days ago. And I'm like, I don't, sometimes I'm too tired to sing shout. Like, you know, they're like, no, you don't understand. Like, bullets were coming at me. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. Like, like that hurt. It really hurt.
My voice is tired.
My voice was really tired. And the suit shoes were kind of tight.
Oh my
like,
God.
you ever go through that? Like, get in the van.
Yeah.
Just shut up, singer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm like, all right, I'm sorry.
But at least we get that. We get that what we're doing, you know.
Yeah, no, we
what we're
totally
doing is
do.
important, yes, because we entertain people and give them a good day or like an escape. But but they're doing the work. Yeah.
Billy Shelton, this amazing singer, he's in the Spaniels. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to, you know, he's one of the episodes here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, check out How to Be a Class Act, episode something.
Okay.
But anyway.
So you name all your episodes?
Yeah. So I don't even know what this one's going
to be.
What are you
going to name this?
Possibly Hair. I think Bush would be too far.
Bush.
But I'm not. I don't know yet. I honestly don't know yet. Yeah, this will be interesting.
Oh my God.
I can't just say Molly. Chatting with Molly because I have 2 episodes with Molly in it.
Oh, because
my daughter.
Your daughter.
I have mini 10-minute episodes with her. So but it's hardly ever the name. It's usually some kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have to think about that. Guns and Bush. Like so far, I feel like that's what we've covered. Like
guns and Bush.
Bush guns. That doesn't make sense. It seems like a dude, like a built dude with hairy arms.
Oh my God!
Look at the Bush guns on that guy. Like I don't know. So I don't know. I gotta think about it.
Oh my God!
But anyway, I'm talking to this guy, and he's a guy that he came to Bosnia with me, and I've done big theaters with him because we would sing backup for like famous oldies people. But talk about like getting to know, wrapping your brain around what we do. Like he's the one who will perform in front of 4,000, 5,000 people, and then we stand side of the stage, and he's like, look at them all. And he'd make me look at the people, and he just says, you know, we made them happy.
Yeah.
We made all these people happy right now. Like, look at that. That's what this is about.
Yeah, and you do have to remember that. Yeah, sure. Then you're like, oh man, yeah.
There's, do you know Sean Summer, bass player? Possibly one of the finest bass players in the city.
Whoa!
But he'll do corporate shows with me. He'll do weddings with me.
Yeah.
You know, because I do these crazy high-priced weddings, like ridiculously high. It's crazy. Like, oh wow, the magazine's coming out. Why? Because they broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the most roses ever put out in a room. Like,
what?
Really? All right, that's fine.
Oh my God!
But Sean Summer, I'm talking to him. We were at a gig in Hawaii.
That doesn't suck.
It didn't suck. We did a couple of shows in Hawaii last year, but we were talking about high-priced weddings or just weddings in general. You know, and he just said, you know, I can never be tainted, or I can never even look down on any gig because somebody decided, like, this day means something to somebody.
Right.
And somebody decided that they want me in the room on a stage.
Yeah.
For like their most important day.
Yeah, that's
man.
Something to be said for
when
that.
I meet people like that, and they just make it. They put it all in the proper perspective.
Sure.
Whereas everyone else is like, "Why am I here?"
Yeah.
Even I don't care if you do a bar gig. If you do a bar gig, maybe it's shit to you. Maybe you feel like, "Oh, I'm in a dive" or whatever. But the dude who owns that place. Like, that's the biggest night of his life right
baby.
now.
That's his baby, and they brought you in.
You're coming into my place. This is an important place, and this is an important evening because I need people to enjoy themselves in my establishment, and I'm trusting you and your band to be there.
Yeah.
So this means something. This is everything to that bar owner. And it's like, man, like, people need to remember that. No matter how crappy the gig, you're being selected by someone, and they consider it so important.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the noon band at a small church fest.
Sure.
Somebody had to make a sacrifice to put you there, and they are having faith in you. They believe in you.
Totally. God, that's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, it's like if you look at it that way, like, come on, how can you be tainted? You're very important to somebody for that moment, even if you don't see them in the crowd.
Yeah.
So there you go. Take that, tainted
yeah.
band people. Cheer up.
Jerks.
God, jerks. Just take your clothes off and see what happens. We're going to get like band people arrested now.
Show me your bush.
Show them the bush. Let it grow out and just try it at that next church fest.
Oh my God.
What is going on? I don't know. Molly said it. She said to do this.
Oh my God.
As they're getting taken to jail.
Church fest.
Look at her Instagram page. She's really impressive.
Oh my God.
Get in the car. Yeah, man. Well, so tell me about hanging out. So Gary Sinise, that whole thing. He doesn't really hang, but you spend time with him.
Yeah, like sometimes he's on our bus.
No, you've been so good. she wasn't a big fan of Gary Sinise's work, and I don't know why. No, I know what's happening now.
She didn't like Mission to Mars.
We're talking about her career with Gary Sinise. You gotta shut up. It's very important. No. You know what's happening? That web series is going on. The guy upstairs is doing a web series, and the whole crew is like going in and out, and that's what she hears.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing is, I told the guy, hey, I have a podcast going on, because he's been on the podcast.
Yeah,
Matthew
you said
Mann,
that.
look that guy up. Man, that guy, well, in the middle of our podcast, he was getting calls like, oh man, I got to go work on the new 24 show and all that. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, he's a mover and a shaker, but he called me up specifically and said, oh, yeah, there's no problem about the podcast. This is like 10 minutes before you walked in.
No way.
I'm going to have the whole crew just walking through the back door. Little does he know that for some reason it's the back door that spazzes this dog out the most.
No,
But
Penny.
anyway.
Penny.
You've been so good this entire time. Don't blow
Totally.
this for me.
She's just like, okay, I want some attention.
I'm going to start getting emails from fans like, lose the dog. Lose the dog. But anyway, so
she's cute.
Yeah, you get time with him. Like, what's Gary Sinise like in your limited whatever?
He's totally cool.
I can't say limited experience.
He is totally cool. He's always working. And what I mean by that is like, we fly into an area, and immediately he goes straight to like a meet and greet to meet with
right away.
Soldier. Yeah, he goes from thing to thing, like, and then he's having dinner with like a captain, like the general of the and then we do the show, and then he's got a meet and greet afterwards, and then he goes to like the hospital and meets with like
God.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, where
he's that guy.
He doesn't have time to hang out because he's doing good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
And every now and then he'll say like, hey guys, are you interested in maybe grabbing a beer after the show? And we never go to like a restaurant or a pub. Like, he will just go to the hotel and rent out a little room and you know, have a couple beers. And so he'll hang out, and he's just a normal guy. He makes us laugh, and easy breezy.
Really?
Yeah. Easy
How
breezy.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny because I remember talking to Julie Ducek about working with him, and she's like, yeah, once in a while he's like on set in New York or something, and she's like, I'll get like you get a text message from Gary Sinise.
Yes.
And she's like, it's kind of hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, yes, we will. Yes, it's so weird. You're like, I'm texting with Gary Sinise. This is so weird.
That is so, because how long have you been working with him now?
I've been in the band like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Interesting fun fact.
What?
He was in town when I was doing hair. And
did he see your...
He saw my bush. He came with Julie Ducek. I was like, this is gonna sound weird, but do you think Gary would want to see hair? And she was like, I don't know. I'll ask him. So she was like, hey, Gary, Molly's doing a show. And
when was this?
4 years ago. So I was new to the band.
It's
I was new to the band.
so hard not to name this episode Bush. He keeps coming back.
But that's like literally, I can say Gary Sinise saw my bush.
Oh man, I don't know why I'm going to cheers you to that, but I mean, but that's like a double win because he comes to, well, I don't know how it's a win, but he comes to see your show.
He's supported, yeah.
And saw your bush.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
what do you do when you go to see your friend in a performance and you have money, you're a successful actor? Does he it's like, oh, I can't give her like a bush of flowers because that's too on the nose.
A bushel.
You're like, what is he? Did he give you anything, or does he throw a rose at you?
No,
not now. We're trying to figure out what Gary Sinise did after he saw her bush. You gotta stop. No, this is serious.
He didn't bring anything. He just was. We had a little like meet and greet afterwards, and he just gave me a hug and said, "Wow, that was more than I bargained for." Because he's a little conservative. But he grew up doing shows,
right.
And so he came from a place where he knows that this is
Did
just
you
part of the show.
pre-warn him? Did you say
I did not.
I
did not. So I'm not sure if he knew. I don't know if he would know the show.
Did you happily not pre-warn him? Like,
I did.
Wait till he sees this.
Yeah.
Just surprise.
I don't think Julie warned him either. I think it was just like, all right.
And Julie was aware. Had she seen it before, or she just knew?
She saw it. Yep. So she knew it was happening.
Oh my God! If I were her sitting next to him, my eyes would have never left him for that entire section. Like I would have been just glaring at him. Like, what's going on in his head right now? Because what does he do? It's an interesting thing where you have to enjoy the art of it, but at the same time, you're like, where do I look?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Oh my God!
Are you dancing when you're all out?
But no,
that scene?
That scene was just we literally stand in one, like we strip and then sing and we just stand and people are crying like the actors. Yeah. It was a moment. It was not like it was not like
it wasn't sexual.
No, it wasn't sexual. It was like, I'm protesting the war and this has gotten so out of hand. I want to be free, choose love over war. And it was this moment where the actors we were crying, like people, you get into the part and people would like sing and cry, and then you stand, and for while you were naked, there was probably like 40 seconds of just singing, looking straight out, and people were crying, like the actors. So it was
by the time you're in the middle of something like that, it's just empowering.
Totally, yeah.
You saw your bumps in your bush, though.
Yeah, like, totally. I saw all these asses in front of me, like because I was in the second row, so I was like,
I'm so mad. Yeah. Like, why did he have to play Lieutenant Dan? Like, if he played Forrest Gump, it could have been like Forrest saw my bump, like. That could have been the name. Forrest saw my bumps.
Oh my God.
Forrest sees my bumps. Like that could have been the name of this episode. Oh God. So hard to name this thing.
I have one more random story like this that
Come
was
on,
just
man.
like, it was a moment like that was just so uncomfortable. So I think I told you the first Rocky Horror I did was like super, super gritty, and they just wanted to push the envelope, push it, da 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 da. So like the first thing I did in the opening scene, I came down the steps, and this girl came down this way, and we met up, and they were like, make out. Like just make out. That's how I was introduced. I came down and we just grabbed and like made out with this. And my family came, my brothers, and I honestly heard like, oh, I'm not kidding. I heard my brother groan like, oh God.
There's no such thing as like, I don't think in movies or in plays is like straight on like tongue kissing. Is there, or do you just go for it?
We did because this is what the director wanted, was the
I did
grit.
a short like indie film and just did like the kind of the tongue kissing in there. Mine was weird because it was timed. It's like 13 seconds.
Oh God!
And I'm on top of
so
this
you're like
girl
counting,
for 13
you're like,
seconds.
1, 2.
Basically, it's like, oh God, it's so weird because it had to go with the soundtrack and stuff. But that's an interesting thing. How did you feel about like the kissing on stage and stuff?
I mean,
it's no big deal.
No, I didn't. I did not mind. I didn't care. The only thing I did mind was when my family came. I was like, oh God.
I felt like kissing on stage. I had to do it once. I have to tell you something. This is weird, man.
Yeah.
During one of the few theater things that I did, it felt like I think maybe the person, one of the producers who was in it, I don't know, maybe she wanted to kiss. I don't know. It made no sense.
It was a gratuitous kiss.
It made no sense. It didn't fit anything that we were doing. And during this like musical break, I had to like kiss this girl, and I just You're
like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't. I don't wanna. I honestly don't wanna.
If it makes sense in the moment, yes.
But
if
not.
That's
actually,
the worst. Then
we're going
that's
through
awkward.
this song that we're singing, and then she's like, and then in the middle we just kiss. And I'm like,
you're like,
why? Like, and I'm thinking, I wish I could remember the song. It didn't make sense at all, though. I'm like, man, piece of meat moment.
Yeah.
Like, really? What? It's fine. Jump, the check clears.
So we do such weird things.
We do weird things sometimes. Yeah.
God, we do weird things for our living.
Have you done any film?
Yeah.
Do you like straight acting, like dialogue and all that kind of stuff?
I'm not. No, I like to do musical.
Yeah.
Like that's my kind of theater. I don't think I've ever done a straight play.
Like, it's interesting because you have a big personality, And by the way, now that the puppy is like jumped on my lap, I feel like an evil villain because I'm like petting it as I talk to you.
My
Like,
pity.
yes, how do you?
Or like, oh, sorry, who is it in Austin Powers?
That's
who's, like,
exactly who I feel.
stroking
Dr.
the
Evil. That's
cat or
I
what?
feel.
Like,
Yeah, it just feels weird. But yeah, the little dog has jumped in my lap, folks, and that's what's going on.
She's doing so
like,
good, Penny.
Look, it's like a
Penny.
little doggy bush I have all of a sudden. It's just right there.
Have you ever said the word bush so much in your life?
Never, ever. No, I'm gonna
No.
say I'm pretty positive that particular description of that body part, I've never used it. I've never
love
used it.
that word.
What's so better than some
and I
of the
like to say it
alternatives?
like bush. Bush.
You kind of have like a Sean Connery vibe right now when you're like, I go bush, shit on the bush.
Bush.
Yeah, there's.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy. What's your favorite word?
Oh wow, like curse word?
I don't know, just like any word.
Man,
any word.
I gotta go with aardvark because the aardvark and a close second is yak.
Oh,
The animals, because I just feel like they got so screwed. Like the yak, like he's like, oh God, you're a lioness. You're an actual, I'm a yak. That's what I got. A yak. There's
That's so
nothing.
funny.
Yeah, I feel like evolution. Like there's no way I'm even gonna look cool, so I'm not gonna bother because I'm a yak. Like it's just those are funny words, and like you gotta go the rest of your existence. So aardvark and yak.
two
Why do you have
animals.
favorite words outside of bush?
Bush. No, I do, and you're gonna think you're gonna be like, oh my God, what a pervert. But honestly, I like bush and I love pubes. I think pubes. Pubes is that's a
is
funny
really
word.
Fun. Yeah,
and I like pumpernickel.
Pubes. You know,
Pumpernickel.
Now that pumpernickel's a good one. Now that
Yeah.
you say pubes, I guess it would be insulting, but man, what an awesome nickname for like a comic relief character.
Pubes?
Like, yeah. Hey, pubes. Come on, we're going to the movies. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, pubes? Hey, pubes. Pubes is a good nickname. If the person can get over
it's funny. That's very funny.
This is a good game.
I'm really not actually like a giant pervert. I just really like those two words, like
But-
bush and
no,
pubes, make me laugh.
But those are
I love
funny.
to say
Those
them.
are funny names. Yeah, no, Bush it's the first time because Bush feels so 1970s.
It sure does.
Like it straight up does. Like, and is the word Bush in any of the script in Hairspray?
No.
But it just felt right.
Oh,
because,
totally. Bush.
You've lived a life. What's next for you, man? Do you, like what? Or do you have a bucket list? Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're digressing like crazy.
Okay,
This
okay.
is what the show's all about.
Okay.
Man.
I'm like, is this how it is? Is this what you do? You
It's
just
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I should be saying
Welcome-
pubes, but
yeah, shit,
Okay.
yeah. Welcome to Chatter Fact, man. Like you're in now. You're in the lore.
so funny.
Forever and ever, you'll
So
be listened
funny.
to. Like, so you'll be like 70 someday, because things don't die once they're out there in net land.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, Grandma.
Bush girl. Now I'm the bush girl.
Ooh, Bush Girl's not a bad title. Not a bad episode title. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to beat that.
my
Oh, it's
God.
hard to beat the bush.
Beat around the bush.
I gotta cheers you again.
Oh,
Well played. Well played.
Oh,
Beat around the bush. Damn it, that's a good one.
That's a good one,
That's a good one too.
too.
Yeah. Well, you said it. I repeat it. You said
That's-
it.
yeah.
That was your moment of brilliance.
Oh my God.
But very quickly,
Yeah.
I feel like you're like a big personality and you're tons of fun. But there's this like quiet sort of intimacy to you that it would be cool to see you in film doing like a quiet role. But I couldn't picture you like doing like this overly sensitive but like weak is what I'm saying. But there'd still be strength, but there's a silence to you. Like I could tell like you have your quieter moments, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be interesting to see you fall into that.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever played a part like that. Somehow I always get cast like I played a tranny in a movie. Like I literally played a tranny. Yeah. And then my other one, I haven't done a lot of that kind of work, but the
Yeah.
ones that I have gotten, I played a lesbian pro wrestler. Like it's, yeah.
Did you have to do some stunt work in that?
I did. I honestly, we had like a fight choreographer, and
Yeah.
I had to body slam. Like I had a whole day that was just for
You body slammed somebody?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
you're so awesome.
Like pick them up. But then I had a stunt girl that did some of the work because there were things.
A double? You had a stunt double?
Yes, there were some of the things that. Like they just didn't. They're like, we shouldn't have you do this, but they
Yeah.
wanted me to do as much as I could. And once they saw that I'm pretty like athletic, they're like, oh, you're gonna be able to. So I had to like lift the girl up, and I went like, ah! and then And then they had like the stunt double actually like slam her.
Do the slamming. Okay.
Yeah. So.
But you lifted her up.
Oh, I sure did.
Did you enjoy doing the stunt work stuff?
It was so fun.
Yeah,
it was so awesome.
Eventually, we're going to get to an age where like we'll break if we do too much of that.
Totally, which is why I want to do it now.
Yes.
Like, wait, can I ask how old you are, or do you not say? 46. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm no baby.
Yeah.
And it's weird
neither am
like,
I.
I can still like jump around and do these things, and I was trained in martial arts too.
No way.
So some of the short films that I've done, I'm always fighting. At least a lot of them.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's one it's still stuck in post-production. I'm trying to fix it. But I mean, I was a producer on it, so I got to, I'm fighting with all these like MMA guys, and there's one
You
scene.
think my life is interesting? You just like throw these like, I was trained in,
it's been okay.
Oh, when I was in Kosovo, like what?
It's been okay.
This is not a normal life.
It's not.
You're like, oh, you interest me. I'm like, well, what?
I don't know.
I'm learning all sorts of things about you.
Oh, I know. That's
so
a great thing
nuts.
about this whole, like, that's why I always say it's not an interview, it's a conversation. It's funny because some of my fans will reach out and say, oh, I didn't, like, they'll love an episode, but then they always learn a little something.
They're like, wait, you were Pitbull?
Yeah. But there's one scene in this movie, they're working out some audio problems with it now, where, like, I'm in the back of a pickup truck, and it's stopped, and there's, I have no gun, and all these guys are after me, and like there's a passing pickup truck, and they have pads in it, but I have to like leap into a moving pickup truck and
oh
like
my
land.
God,
Yeah.
that's a major stunt.
We did it like 3 times.
Hope you got stunt pay.
I didn't get stunt pay. We did it like 3 times, and the third time that was actually the keeper. Like totally like banged my head in the side of the truck wall, like inside, but I remember feeling like Steve Martin in Parenthood, like popping up, like, we got the shot,
hey,
yeah.
I got it. Yep.
But stunts are fun, man. It's just, I don't know like how many more years.
Oh yeah, probably
have to
not.
do them.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5 more.
Maybe a couple.
I don't know, because Jackie Chan's doing it at like 68 or 65.
That is true. That is true.
Oh man, did you have fun doing this?
Yeah, I did. Yes, this is awesome.
Is cool?
I mean, I've never done anything like this.
I'm so glad, like, I'm your first.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I appreciate you spending the afternoon with me.
Yeah, of course.
You're just as cool as I thought you were going to be. Because we've known each other for a long time, and we
do the same circuits,
it's
weird.
Like, yeah. And we've seen each other like once or twice on stage, which is interesting. And I don't know, there were probably over 10-year time span that you and I have actually seen each other do our thing.
Right.
So it's just so random. And you've always been on my mind as somebody I need to sit down with, need to like get on the microphone, because I mean, if you don't, hopefully if there's a gift that this thing gives you, it's just to remind you what a badass you are, man.
Oh my God.
No, seriously, like if you ever have any like, we all have those doubtful moments. We do.
Of course.
Because of what we do.
Daily.
I think there's a thing about having to be so on when you're on stage, and then even in and around the stage, because you're talking to the people, and you still have to be on. Like, I really want to be positive every time I can. And the problem with that is on a Monday afternoon, I could be totally down in the dumps or negative or depressed, over maybe nothing, stupid stuff. But I think it's because we have to have our positivity turned up so high.
Creative people get pretty dark.
Yeah.
And I know that from talking to my friends, and I have it myself. Yeah. Because when you have like really high highs, and you're like on and this and that, and then you come home and you kind of dwell on it's easy to get in that place.
What does it do to your psyche? When you have 1,000 people screaming and they're cheering, and then you come home and it's just all quiet.
Yeah.
And it's not even like you come home and you don't want any more attention, but it's almost just this overload. You're going through this super high moment, and then life's normal the next day, and you're just washing your underwear.
Yeah.
Unless you're in hair and you don't need it. but it's just the highs and lows are so weird. Like it's almost like you can't help but feel really low on an off day.
Totally.
Because you just spent 3 days being so high.
Totally.
And not only because the feeling of being on stage gets you there, but because it's your job to be there too.
I just want to say, like, I put a lot of things out on like Facebook, on Instagram and whatnot, and like, as we all know, that is like the highlight reel, the highlight reel. And I've had people write me, like, honestly, people write me and say like, my God, I wish I had your life, God, you have the greatest life, and you're always happy, and this and that. And like, I have written back and said, don't get it twisted. Like, yes, I am lucky and I have an awesome life and I love it, but I have moments just like everyone else does. I just don't post about it.
Right.
But there are days that, I'll cry myself to sleep, or you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, we all have those moments, everyone.
I do think performers have it more. And again, it's like, it's not necessarily that life is always that bad that you should feel that down, but I feel like it's a necessary balance. Because how can you be that high?
It's in our nature, it is.
But how can you go that big? How can you be that big and that high on a stage for all these people, and not, you have to balance it out. You have to have a low.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not the worst day in the world, it's almost natural, or there's no balance to you. Like, we'd be crazy people, crazier than we are. Yeah.
Crazier than we are, exactly.
Deep
I feel
thoughts.
like we have just the right amount of crazy, though,
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's like crazy. You have to have just enough, and then I feel like ego too, like just enough ego to believe you can do it, but not enough to like to be a jerk after the fact.
To be a dick.
I
right.
believe in that too. Forget that.
Completely.
Man, you're a gem, dude. You're an actual gem. Oh. Folks, Molly Callinan. Wait, I just said Callinan.
Yeah, that's right. That's Callinan. Yeah.
I thought it was Callahan, but it's with a.
It's like Callahan, but with an N.
Molly Callinan.
People call me Callahan all the time. I go, yep, that's fine.
Oh,
that's
wrong.
good enough. But it's Callinan.
Don't you dare, people. Callinan. No, so you guys, I don't even have to tell you to love her. You guys already love her. You just experienced. A true like gem and you're a unique diamond in this performance world, man, because you beat the odds, you beat the system, and you didn't do it by cheating anything. You just did it by trying as hard as you can, using what you got to be as good as everybody else in the room. And that is badass, man. That's a lesson learned for anybody trying to do this or anything else. It's like hard work goes a long way. It doesn't matter how much you put, how much of the training or the back end. It's just basic hard work goes a long way.
Hard work and faking it if you're scared. Just get in there. That's just
you're
get
fearless,
in there.
man. Well, thanks for spending the afternoon with me.
Thank you.
Find Molly Callinan. Go to Instagram. Go to Facebook.
Go see the shit show.
Go see the shit show. It's so much fun to watch her on Instagram, guys. Trust me. It's like you're in a way like my Instagram Marvel movie. So you really are. So much that you do. You're kind of like a superhero in our world. So that's how I look at you.
That's very funny.
Oh.
Well, I'll take it. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to all of us. Have a great week. Have a great day. Have a great month. Go out and find your smile.
Bush.
How was that, man? Fun stuff?
Totally. So random.
Bush. You sound like Sean Connery when you say it. Do you realize you have a Sean Connery vibe?
Only with that word, though.
Bush. What a life.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was so fun.
Welcome to my life so far. You'd think by now I'd be a star. I may be long-winded, but hey, there's just so much I have to say. Maybe lick your lips when you're hungry. Maybe drop your head when you're sorry. Maybe shake a bit when you're worried. That's just